Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Friday Eve, welcome in everybody. Happy Thursday, one and all. First day of September. It is getting to fall. Derek Gunn's favorite time of the year. We are
Stop it.
JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. You know I had to get you a little bit there, man. You knew that.
I know. What's up, my extended family?
Good, man. All good. And what's up, everybody in the chat room? I see Gigi, Philly, Kyle, Chris, Anthony, Mama Brooks. What's up, Mama Brooks? Dylan, of course, Gigi. I always got to give Gigi his props. Good to see everybody there. And let's do this. Let's tear rotator cuffs right away. Let's do it. Yeah, that's how we're going to start the show, tearing rotator cuffs. But thank you. It's a big thank you to everybody out there. This is what we achieved the month of August. That is 1,222,151 and 151 views for JAKIB Sports. And we are here because of you. So we say thank you and we salute you. But that's a great number, man. We're happy with it when we're just going to keep building because the best is yet to come. That's all I can tell you. We have just now dipped our foot into September, like dipped a foot in the pool right now. That's it.
Well,
blow it up.
A million views, man. Just put that in perspective. 1 million views. So if I had $1 for each view, I'd be a millionaire, bro.
You wouldn't be working here. You'd be gone. You would have left us.
Hey, come on, Xander. Let's get this going, Xander.
Yes.
Let's get it going, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, but seriously, we do appreciate it, and certainly speaking for the entire channel and our show specifically. Thank you, guys. We appreciate that. So Good to see you. Good to hang out with you today. Eagles back at practice, guys. They've named the captains. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so here's the cap. Tell me if there's any surprises here for you. Kelsey, Hurts, Lane Johnson on the offensive side of the ball. Darius Slay, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox on the defensive side, and Jake Elliott, your special teams captain. So
what was the offense again?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kelsey and Hurts.
And Lane.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So you got three on each side.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't put AJ up there.
Well, he's a newcomer. These guys are all you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say that, but you figure, you look at the names they put in the time here. They're leaders. You're not to say AJ isn't a leader. But, these guys are the leaders, the pinnacle leaders of this team on both sides of the ball. So I'm not surprised one bit. I think it's a great collection of captains chosen. Good job to Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
Rob, you're our captain.
Thank you, Barry.
I don't want D Gun to be the captain.
I'm gonna get a C. I'm gonna wear that C.
There
man.
we go.
Derek's not captain material.
No,
he's not. No.
Yeah,
worry about him.
I don't want to be that. No.
You don't want to be the captain?
I have other agendas. No, I don't want to be that.
Other agendas.
See, you have to say it's agendas, not just it's agendas.
I got other agendas.
You
I don't need
multiple agendas.
I don't need that.
I like it.
D-Gun and Gunner, we're our own captains.
That's right. Who's the captain of the D-Gun, Derek Gunn team? Who gets?
Oh, that would be Trish.
Trish is the captain of both. Okay. Understood.
Oh yeah.
I think we all know that she is running the ship. That's for sure.
No question.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Now, are you still all by your lonesome, Barrett, or has the crew returned from Mexico? The answer is Yoki. That means yes. Barrett is still by himself and doing it all. Yes.
Look, she's so pissed off because it's just me and her.
Yeah, you can tell. Look at that look on her face.
Because you don't give her enough treats.
Are you not giving her treats again?
I give this dog whatever she wants, and
hey,
she's still like,
you don't give her enough treats. You don't just now. She's probably still mad from that boat trip you put her on. She's probably still mad about that.
Yes,
I'd still be mad if I was that dog.
Yeah, well,
She just growled at me.
I know.
Good.
She knows you're talking about her right now.
No, she heard me mention that boat trip. She goes, you know what? You're right, D-Gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're still paying that price, man.
Yes,
All right, I got to
bro.
hit you guys with this. So Eagles are back at practice today. We're 10 days out from the season opener for the Eagles. We are 1 week away from the NFL opener and a lot of college football tonight, by the way. Penn State, Purdue, West Virginia, Pitt, among others. So we're back, man. We're back
Tonight.
in football. Yes, tonight. Yes. Serena advanced to the third round, which we'll get into a little bit later. This feels like, I don't know if you guys remember this, like it was around 90 or 91. Jimmy Connors was getting up there at that point. He was older. And he went on a run at the US Open that was unbelievable, man, at the very end of his career. And this feels like that to me. Like Serena is locked in, and it's a cavalcade of stars every night.
You see Tiger Woods is there?
Oh, Tiger was into it, man. You see
him standing up, pumping the fist like when he's made a big shot on a golf tournament?
Yeah,
Bro,
Tiger
come
was
on, man. Half the Mets were there.
Yeah, it was it was a big time affair, man. Big time affair. So we'll get into that. I had my fantasy football draft last night, guys.
Before we get to that, before I do that,
yeah,
guys, where is it at?
Where's what?
I sent explicit instructions on how I was supposed to enter this show. Where's my horn at?
I know what he's talking about. Now, before I text you guys last night, were you watching that Mets Dodgers game?
Yes. Unbelievable.
Now, the game itself was unbelievable playoff atmosphere. Great pitching, great defense. Nimmo went up over the fence in center field and took away a home run.
Unbelievable catch.
That catch was unbelievable. And then Diaz comes out to his own music in the ninth inning. But what's the dude's name? Tony Trumpet?
Yes.
What's his name?
It's from Australia.
Timmy, isn't it Timmy?
Timmy Trumpet. I had never heard of this guy, but from what I understand, I guess he's big time, well known because and Bob Costas calling the game. Are you kidding me?
I know.
What more could you ask for?
It does give it a little more depth when you have a guy like Costas doing it. I agree with that.
That's why I expect that from you guys now. All right,
man. Let me tell you something. After what you just said about me off the top of the show, I got a theme song for you. All right, I got something for you. All right, yeah. But dude, I'm sitting there going, okay, we've grown accustomed to baseball players coming to the plate, coming to the mound with their own music, played on the sound system. Oh, not Edwin Diaz. He has a live musician, world-renowned musician, on the sideline playing the trumpet while he's walking in from the bullpen.
Yeah, that's pretty wild,
dude. I got chills.
I know,
bro. And
it's like Major League.
Yeah, make it so bad. What's his name? Timmy Trumpet. He never watched a baseball game. He didn't watch baseball. He played cricket. Growing up.
Yeah.
So the announcer said that his first game ever watching the game was the day before.
Wow.
And then he heard his music come on, and then he said, "You know what? The next game, I want to be the guy. I want to play it live." So he ends up playing it live. So I'm gonna need some theme music going on here for a minute.
I hear you. Talk to Xander. Let's go. Barrett needs his own music. It's like your walk-up music. I
got your theme music. If I get theme music, it has to be Shaft.
But
I love the way Bob Costas set the stage for the music when he said, it was a close game, eighth inning, and Bob Costas sets the stage by saying, this Timmy Trumpet, this is his one shot to do this because he's leaving on tour starting in Singapore Saturday, this country on Sunday. So this is it, And sure enough, the pitcher holds his ground, gets the Dodgers out. And they don't even go to commercial break because they know what's coming. Mm-hmm. They went to commercial break. Normally when the inning's over, you go right to commercial break. But MLB Network knew it's coming. Once that eighth inning ended, the camera ISOs on Edwin Diaz coming out. The gate opens up in the bullpen. He's walking across the center field, and all of a sudden the crowd goes nuts. How would you like to be in New York yesterday when you have U.S. Open tennis and the Mets playing the Dodgers in a crucial series?
Both in Queens.
Yep.
Crazy.
I mean, you're serious.
Crazy. Yes.
Can you imagine the traffic congestion?
Traffic was probably interesting.
Oh, my goodness.
That's for sure. Public transportation, I think, was the way to go, man. But, yeah, I hear you.
We don't go through this for like a couple years, right?
Well, the U.S. Open holds like 24, and I'm guessing Citi Field is like
it's 41 plus.
It's a 41. I was going to say like 43, something like that. Yeah, that's a lot of people in a condensed area.
New York was definitely the place to be yesterday.
Amen. Very cool. Yeah. So last night I had my fantasy football draft. Now let me start by saying this. I've been doing fantasy football for 30 years. That long. I know.
Wow.
It was
30 years?
Yeah, I was literally, man, like more than that, maybe even. Actually 30, I think it's like 31 or 2. We were like teenagers. So actually I was like 1 year old. And let me rephrase that. 1 year old. No kidding. But I've officially had it with fantasy. I'm done. Like I know it's blown up.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm in a league. It's my cousin and a bunch of his buddies, and I've been in it for a long time with them. I haven't done the full, boat with them. I used to do multiple leagues. I stopped doing that a long time ago. But anyway, so I feel like obliged not to let them down and bail out, so they still have like an even amount of people. But like I don't want to just sit there and do prep. I had to do prep after the show yesterday. I don't want to get. I'm done. I do enough prep.
You take things too seriously.
I know I do, Barrett.
And I, bro, you would lose sleep if you just set your roster. You wake up out of the deep sleep. Oh, this is my roster, and get up and do that. And see that you take it too seriously. Me, if I get to it, I get to it.
Hey, Barrett, Rob's comments sound like a man who's never won the money in fantasy football.
That's what it is right there.
Here, truthfully, I've only won it like once or twice.
There you go. See,
in that stretch.
In 30 years.
I've been in the championship a good amount, but no, I don't know. And I don't want to sound like that guy, but I'm that guy. I'm done. I think I am really going to tell him after this year I'm done.
Dude, I'm just done. I have never in my life played fantasy football.
Wow.
I have no patience to sit there and set rosters and delete and add. The funny thing is I constantly get calls. Hey, Degon, I need your help here. Who do you think I should take? And I give, but there's a part of me that says, me being in this business, if I don't win, that's bad. That's bad for the brand. You know what I mean?
Me too, man. Imagine being me. Like
you're
supposed to know football.
Exactly.
And I don't go off statistics and what guys are doing these days.
Right.
I draft with my heart. So I'm drafting guys. Like I'd be looking for Jerome Bettisone. Where's Jerome at? You know what I'm saying? He hadn't played in 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
I don't think like these new guys think. Like they go in and they get analysis. They find out, oh, he coughed on Tuesday at 3:00. So he's not. I don't do all that, bro.
Hey, man,
I'm just like, okay, cool.
I don't have patience.
Guy, bro. I'm a fan guy.
I just don't have the patience for it. I really don't.
Well, I think, look, football's a lot easier than the other sports in terms of upkeep. Like after you do the draft, you enter your lineup. Okay. Like baseball, man, it's a lot.
I couldn't do baseball.
Baseball's out of control. I've never had any desire. Basketball, hockey, it's a lot. So I
do basketball. It's fun. But I remember one year I did basketball and, I had Shaq on my roster. I had, I had all these old time guys
who were cooked.
That could barely play, and I'm wondering why I'm getting beat by 50 points by people. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, here's the other issue that I have. So last year, same league, same people, same commissioner. Our commissioner is a guy who he's good for the role because he's like Roger Goodell-ish.
Like
he's not afraid to be the villain. He's not afraid to be the bad guy. He's a habitual rules follower to the point where, like, there's no gray area with him. He's got his head buried in in numbers. He's that guy.
Remember Ice the producer? Like Ice would be.
Similar, right? So I'll give you the story real quick. Last year, and we'll move on from this. But last year, if you remember, we had this really bad storm toward the end of the summer that hit. I don't know how badly you guys got it in your area, but we got crushed.
Was that the one that the tornado hit part of Jersey, South Jersey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's that same night we're having the draft, and we're doing it like we're doing it right here online and streaming and all those things. So my internet crashes, with the storm, and this guy is like, "We're starting at 7:00 no matter what." Okay, I'm like,
sound like Merrill Reeves.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, dude, I can't get on. Like, I don't have, not my problem. It's like a total, what. So I'm like, so what ended up happening was I had like the second overall pick, and our league. The one thing I will say that I like, it goes rapid fire. It's 2 minutes between every pick. Like we're done 14 rounds in an hour. Okay.
Wow.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So I can't get on for the first 2 selections because my internet's down. So it does what's called an auto pick. The league that we're involved in, I won't give the name because whatever. But it ends up taking 2 straight tight ends for me, rounds 1 and 2, which is death. Okay,
right.
So I basically just I was like, here's the money right now, guys. I have no chance to win last year, and so that soured me. And I went through it again this year, and now I'm done after this year. I'm just
okay. So if it soured you last year, why did you do it again this year?
Because I'm loyal to a fault.
Yeah,
I'm loyal to a fault. I'm a softie.
I don't have the patience to sit there for a fantasy draft with a bunch of guys. I'm sitting there going, I could be doing something else. I don't have patience to sit there.
The worst thing ever, man. I was drafted, at the job at NBC Sports, and Ricky Metallico.
Yep.
They have the draft, and he's at dinner, so he can't go in and draft.
Oh boy. And
he can't log on right, and it's messing up. So everybody's just skipping on. They're yelling at him on the chat and all this stuff. He said, I'm gonna fix everybody. He goes in and drafts 8 straight quarterbacks. Talking about everybody was mad. They were pissed off. Like, oh, why is he doing this? He did it on purpose. He's like, so what? You guys gonna do me like this? This is what I'm doing.
That's a Ricky move.
Have to trade. Now you also have to trade me to get a quarterback. Now what? So they end up kicking him out the league. And
they kicked him out.
That's a Ricky move, though.
And he's pissed. He's still mad about it. He talked about it the day before yesterday. He's still mad about it.
Yep, mullets and jorts. That is my my league name. I like it, man. Oh my God. Oh, all right. So other than the Eagles practicing, hey, and surprise, Miles Sanders back on the field.
He practiced today?
He is back on the field.
Yes,
doing some drills. I don't know if it's going to be full blown, but he's doing some drills, so that's a good sign. They also got back Landon Dickerson and Jason Kelsey. So
it's showtime.
You're pretty healthy right now. Okay. The whole objective of the offseason, it seemed like, was to get there in one piece, and it feels like they're in, one piece here to start the season. So that's good from that standpoint, that they're kind of getting ready to get at it. Today just sort of hits a little bit different. It feels like to me, I guess because we're a week out from the first game, I'm really feeling it today. I don't know about you guys, man. Like and I know Tuesday's going to be crazy once we get back and it's game week, where you're really looking ahead to the Lions from an Eagles perspective. But from an Eagles and an NFL perspective, man, I'm in the zone now. I'm there. I know, Derek, you're hanging on.
It's a slow build up. See, I will get jacked up next Thursday night about an hour before kickoff. That's when I really get fired up. This is like a gradual buildup right now. I want to enjoy the Labor Day weekend, spend the time with the family. I have a wedding to go to this weekend in Lancaster. I'm just going to enjoy the ambiance of just the last free weekend until January, February, whatever the case may be. But I'm not. I see, Rob. I see. If you're jacked up now, you have nowhere to go next week.
I know.
See what I'm saying? You're already up here.
I don't care.
I'm in my Mountain Dew mode. I'm all hyped up and jacked up on Mountain Dew, bro. It started on Monday for me.
Yeah,
Monday it started on me, bro. I'm at this point, man, ready to rock, because I'm thinking about what it was to get cut, and before cut day, going into the next day. I'm in mode because I got a game this weekend that I'm trying to download information and get everything ready. I'm watching film.
Tell everybody what your game is, Barrett. Again, just so they know.
I have BYU and South Florida.
Yep.
So this is gonna be a huge game, and I didn't went in and watched those games like 1,000 times. I actually went back day before yesterday and watched the Detroit game. Because I just renewed my my NFL ticket, game pass.
All right, let's go there, man. Tell us, it was a while ago for people who may forget. Everybody remembers the Eagles ran all over them, but give me some of your impressions, Barrett. What went down in that game?
Offensively, they couldn't get anything going, so their defense was on the field the entire time.
Lions.
So they just started, Lions. So they just started handing the ball off, man, and it was crazy how far they were blowing that defensive line off the ball. So then I said, you know what? I turn the TV on and watch Hard Knocks, and I'm watching those guys there, and I'm saying how trying to compare and contrast. I'm looking at the screen, watching this, then I'm looking at, and I'm like trying to break down film, trying to see who's doing what's doing me. Like, it was crazy how I was doing it, man. I was like in game mode already.
I love it. You're like multitasking, film breakdown, also Hard Knocks. I love it, man.
I mean, I got Hard Knocks. Yeah.
Let's go back to, you said you drink Mountain Dew?
No, you've never seen Talladega Nights, bro.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew. You remember the sunset?
Okay, I thought you were saying you drank Mountain Dew. Okay, I mean, anybody eats White Castle. I mean, anything, sky's the limit.
There you go, it's White Castle. But then I'm looking, but then I turn around and I'm watching the offensive line and how our defensive line dominated. Fletcher Cox whooped Big V's tail and made him like it. I mean, he beat the snot out. I can't cuss that much today because my mom thinks she grown and she left. She's going up to Chicago right now for a convention, a church convention.
So you can be bad now. Mom's off. Mom's
no, she's listening to it.
Okay.
And she has my aunt. Both of my aunts in the car with her.
You better be on best behavior, man.
Bro, come on. I'm not messing with none of them.
You could be grounded if you get out of line.
I'm not messing with none of them 3 ladies.
She probably went to that church convention to get extra prayer for. I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
Derek, come on, man.
I'm just saying. I mean, I've been telling you for years you need to tone down the cursing a little bit, but I'm just
acting like I'm a heathen. Then I turn around.
I didn't say that. I said the curse. I didn't say anything about that. I said just
anytime I hear the word heathen, it reminds me of Aunt Esther yelling at
Fred.
You old
heathen. Grady.
Look,
yeah,
my
Grady.
Marlo,
Rollo, who was one of Lamont's buddies. Remember Rollo?
Yeah. But my Aunt Marla and my Aunt Cindy are in the car with her, and they're going up to this convention right now. There is no way on God's green earth that I'm getting out of order today.
I got you.
All right. I can't wait to see this. That's
let me get back to it though. So then I'm watching their defense, and this new kid that he's
Aiden Hutchinson.
All right. Aiden Hutchinson, he's a real deal.
Yeah,
I mean it's going to be about a big. I'm telling you, Milata's got his hands.
That's going to be fun. That one-on-one
right
matchup. Maybe next week we'll do some one-on-one matchups. That one's going to be
a battle. Man. I can't wait. That's going to be much watch TV.
Yeah.
But then I turn around and I look at their offensive line. They don't have a snowball's chance, man. I mean, they are going to get killed by our guys up front. This game will be won in the trenches, and I think our offensive line can block those guys. I mean, Michael Brocker,
he's a good player. He's a good ball player.
He's a really good player. He was a baller in LA.
Yeah, he's still good.
Really, really good player. So this is going to be a good game, man. But I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to blow them out, though. No doubt.
So you think the big advantage is Eagles D-line will smoke Detroit's
D-line?
D-line.
I mean, our offensive line is probably the number one offensive line in football, but our defensive line will handle them. I mean, it's going to be nasty how bad they're going to make them look.
Let me real quick go back to Hutchinson for a minute. Do you think, is he to the point, is it too early to give him, more than just one-on-one attention? Are you not that, how concerning is he?
I think you're going to have to slide protect to him. Yeah. You can't just let him go.
He plays the run too.
He's got a nonstop motor, man. My goodness.
And that's what it is. He's not his first move probably won't work on Big V, but his second and third moves are what's gonna, cause some problems because he doesn't stop. He does not stop. He keeps going and going and going. He conditioned himself. You could tell when I was watching Hard Knocks, he conditions himself to go every single play as hard as he can. And that's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to play like that. But remember, I've been talking about it for the longest. Are they taking conditioning as seriously as they should be? Yes, the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that it's something you should talk about. We should talk about it a little more. Are they going to be in shape enough? I know that Detroit will be in shape because you saw how hard they worked.
Yeah. Oh man, their coach is working them to death. I tell you what, other than Hutchinson, this kid I've been watching on Hard Knocks, this Malcolm Rodriguez. Yeah. He's a rookie, 6th round pick. He's starting at the will linebacker for them.
They love him.
Dude, let me tell you something. I want to see this kid play.
He's going to get his ass. He's going to his butt kicked.
I want to see. I want to see him play. I can't wait to see him play.
He's not going to play. He's going. That's all great. That's a Camp Darling. That's all great until you get between the lines.
Yeah, true.
When you got Big Dickerson putting his head right in between that 4 and that 4.
Yeah. He was a great player at Okie State.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was.
Phenomenal. Yes, he was. But all right, so that's all right. That's good. So you think the great advantage is the Eagles D line? So this could be a day where Reddick goes off, where the interior guys
Sweat might have 2 sacks.
That's
how. I mean, Sweat, bro. I'm telling you, Sweat is going to lead our team in sacks.
Look, I hope so, man. I want to see it. Like all the potential's there, but he needs to do it over the course of an entire season, not just rack up 3 against the Jets or whatever it was. I mean, he needs to do it against the big boys too.
Look, Fly Parks. Exactly. Put that up there.
What's that?
Hard Knocks got it, y'all brainwashed.
No.
Yes.
No. I'm talking about individual players. I'm not talking about as a team. I think Detroit still has a long way to go. We were talking about individual players. Aiden Hutchinson, that boy got J.J. Watt.
See what y'all did? See what y'all did?
What we do now?
Aunt Marla, real fresh food. She said, "Hey nephew, see, I told you they was watching. I told you they was listening
or listening.
Yes,
you were listening.
Told you.
That's
how
right.
You
doing, Can you go 3 hours without? That's the big question. Rob, you taking over under on this?
On Barrett cursing?
Yes.
I'm taking the under. I think he can do it.
You think he can do it?
I do.
I think he's sweating bullets. I think with a trio of women heading to a church conference to pray over his soul, I think he can do it today.
Well,
I think this is the one day he can do it.
That's true. He's not a big cursor.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Barrett mixes like one curse in every 3 or 4 shows. Honestly,
I know. But some of the words he has said, I'm like, oh geez. Okay.
I work blue myself sometimes. Occasionally,
But hold on. Oh, D God. The worst part about it is that he's a heathen. Then his wife says, "No, he's not, Derek," because she knows I am not.
I didn't say you were a heathen.
Yes, you have.
Chris disagrees, Derek. Don't even try it. How dare you? Uncle Barrett does not do those kind of things.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. I'll said it once and I'll say it again. Uncle Barrett is like Eddie Haskell. He knows how to turn it on in front of certain people.
That's a
but
skill.
I have seen the real Barrett Brooks too many times. He got everybody snowed, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying Barrett's not a good guy. Barrett is excellent people. He's the kind of people you want in your corner. But I've seen the Darth Vader side of Barrett Brooks that other people have not seen. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh man. Oh, see, even Captain Tony knows.
See, your mom said, look at it. Your mom said, pray for him, Diga. Yes, ma'am, Mrs. Brooks. That's exactly what I've been doing. My wife prays for him. I pray for him. It hasn't caught on yet, but we're getting there.
Rosaries out. I'll bust out my old school rosaries, man. I'm
telling you.
See, hey, look.
Hey, Rob, I don't know if there's enough Hail Marys in one show.
But look, even Captain Tony said, I never curse when I'm fishing. I'm just fishing. I'm going. I just make it happen.
Yeah, you dialed in, man.
Going. You got to keep going.
Time for that.
Yes. I've seen him dialed in too.
I know. Listen, I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, so let's smash the like button, folks. We appreciate that if we could do that today. So when we come back, we're going to pose the question when it comes to Howie Roseman: credit or blame? We'll explain.
Good segment. Yes.
We'll explain. We will get into that. A bunch of other stuff that we will we'll hit you with.
Speaking of Howie,
yes,
working on trying to get him on one day next week. So stay tuned.
Gunner.
Stay tuned.
Machine. I love it. All right. Don't go anywhere. We got you.
John Dickerson. D-Gun throwing holy water on Barrett.
Love it. Barrett's going to melt when he gets hit with that stuff. All right. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Derek, Barrett, Rob, we keep it rolling. We keep it rolling with the Eagles in the NFL discussion. All right. Knowing who to trust with your finances. That's what I'm here to tell you about. Could be a scary proposition. And I had issues for a lot of years trying to find the right person, but I have found that right person. And I want you to utilize the right person as well. I can tell you from personal experience that Jim Murray with Principal Financial Group is that guy, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You're starting off a business and you want to set up your employee benefits. You're not sure how to do that. That's another resource that Jim can assist you with. I've entrusted him with my IRA, a couple 401k rollovers from my other jobs, and I couldn't be any happier than I am with Jim. You will be too. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can email him as well, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com. JAKIBSports.com.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted, revered.
Appreciated.
He is Action News.
He's compassionate. Honest.
And fair.
He is extremely dedicated,
Motivated. And always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader, and we're lucky to have him.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Go for the poles and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Thursday. Barrett, Derek, Rob hanging with you, 3 hours of power. All right, so continuing the Eagles discussion here, guys, and specifically Howie, because yesterday, a lot of the discussion we've had the last, few days here, 2 days at least, has surrounded the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade, the CGJ. Although doesn't he like CJGJ? I don't know. It's a whole thing. Right. I got to get I just got rid of J-Jaw. Now I got to worry about this.
Right.
What are we doing? Anyway, and look, props for being able to make that deal. And then he unloads, Rager as well. And we're throwing a lot of praise his way. And it's been an amazing offseason of getting incredible talent. Yeah, right. Deion Taylor, by the way, they want back on the practice squad, so we'll see if he's able to get through waivers and they get him. But we've talked a lot about the AJ Brown type moves, the Kaiser White type moves, the Hassan Reddick type moves, James Bradbury, just to name a few. I mean, it has been a massive offseason for sure for Howie. But the question I have for you guys is, should we be heaping credit or blame in this sense? You punt it basically on a guy that you drafted 21st overall just 2 years ago in Jalen Reagor, who, some of the names of people who went after him. And by the way, I know you could do this with almost every pick where you could just say, look who went after him, blah, blah, blah. But just for the sake of this discussion, Justin Jefferson went right after him. We know that. Patrick Queen, the linebacker from the Ravens, went 28th. Clyde Edwards-Helaire went 32nd. T. Higgins went 33rd. Michael Pittman went 34th. DeAndre Swift, 35. Jonathan Taylor, 41, Chase Claypool, 49, just to name a few. Okay. Then you also look at it. They got rid of J-Jaw. Now, part of J-Jaw ended up getting you Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as well. But J-Jaw was a second-round pick. He was 57th overall. After him, DK Metcalf, David Montgomery, Devin Singletary, Terry McLaurin, our man CGJ also went. Yeah, he was the 105th pick in the 4th round that year. Davion Taylor was a 3rd rounder in 2022. So we're talking about, relatively high picks, one in the 1st round, one in the 2nd, one in the 3rd here from the last few years that are gone. And you essentially had to move these guys because they were contributing nothing. So is it more a situation of you shouldn't have screwed up the picks to begin with versus, okay, good job at least getting rid of them? Where do you guys fall on it?
You got to remember when they actually moved back in that draft, didn't they? To pick Jalen Reagor, or weren't they up higher? Weren't they right around 17 or something like that?
I don't know if they moved back in that one, Barrett. I thought they were going to move up to try to get CeeDee Lamb.
Yes, but Dallas swooped in early and picked him up, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'll check. I'm not sure they moved down. I'll check.
Yeah. You're right, man, because during that draft, I remember we were talking a lot about defensive back and wide receiver, and there was a bunch of guys like Jerry Jeudy in the draft. Nobody expected him to be that high. Henry Ruggs, we didn't think he was going to get drafted at 12 that high. This was kind of a weird draft too. C.J. Henderson, we knew he was going to get drafted high. That's one of the guys we were looking at. But it was funny. This draft, if you weren't going to get a quarterback, we wanted a DB. And we also needed a linebacker, like we've always needed. We've never drafted that high a linebacker since when? When was the last time we had a first-round linebacker? I mean, this
Jerry Robinson, 1979.
So, we had talked about it. We knew they were there because, Patrick Queen was there. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's lived up to it.
Yeah, he's a very good player for Baltimore, man. Very good.
But, it was – I remember I broke down thin on Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma. And I thought he was the prototype. He's the prototypical linebacker. In fact,
one of my favorite players.
He's with the Chargers right now and balling right now. That's why they feel comfortable enough to let White go. But he was just like drafted right after, like 2 picks after. Yeah, he went 23rd to the Chargers, and then after that, Brandon Ayuk balling. Then it was the big mix-up and the big controversy with Jordan Love going to the Packers. I just thought that at that time we needed either a stud corner or a stud linebacker. I didn't want to go with receiver, but we went with receiver anyways. And I definitely didn't want to go with Jalen Reagor. Not to say that Jalen Reagor was bad, because I thought he was a talent, but I didn't know how good of a talent he was going to be because he didn't have a quarterback to really throw to him and really open up what he could do as a player. But I did see him on special teams be that player that I thought he was going to be here. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was magical in returning punts. He was that dude. Once he got the ball, that's when everything instincts took over. But I never saw him get to that point. He never got to the point where he just, athleticism and just his whole, his whole sense of how to play the game took over.
I think he lost confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the case. But yeah, he was the other guy in the Big 12 that I did a breakdown on. It's like, hey, yeah, this is CeeDee Lamb, but this is the other guy that we need to talk about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Yeah, so I guess the question is, Derek, is the good far outweighing the bad? In other words, he's made some unbelievable acquisitions, signings, or trades, or whatever. He's also, killed it in a big way, I think, with the 21 draft and the 22 draft thus far. I mean, time will tell on 22. We need to see these guys get out there. But when you consider what went down last year, I mean, what you got out of your first rounder, Devonte Smith, what you got out of Landon Dickerson, what you got out of Kenneth Gainwell, what you got out of Milton Williams. I mean, boom, boom, boom. That's pretty darn good. And this year sets up, I think, to be good as well. There's that. There's all the moves that I kind of laid out early versus, okay, don't get overboard here because he's kind of cleaning up his own mess.
Okay. I would say give credit because he openly admitted to us that he had to learn how to listen better to those around him. He went from being the smartest man in the room to understanding that it's okay to not be the smartest man in the room. Okay. Now, he took a team last year with those players you were talking about, and they found a way to have a winning record and to get to the playoffs, which is valuable experience for a young group of inexperienced guys.
Right.
You look at his last 2 drafts. He finally honed in on the SEC. He finally started listening to other people. He made some incredible moves, wheeling and dealing, moves that have shocked us, from A.J. Brown to Bradbury to now the safety from the Saints.
Yeah.
So Johnson. I'd say we'd have to give him credit. There are a lot of GMs. You look at the previous GM in New York who finally got jettisoned out of the Gettleman, who finally got jettisoned. He kept the same line of thinking, and it never panned out for him. Okay. So they had to go in a completely different direction. When Andy Reid first got to Kansas City, they had to change the complexion of how they drafted. Look at how they draft now.
And he let Brett Veach do his job.
Exactly. He got out of the way
Eagles executive
and let him do his job. Exactly. No question about it.
Yep.
And I think Howie learned his lesson well. I think he's recovered, because we sit here, as you just mentioned, Rob, we sit here giving him rave reviews for the picks that he made. Landon Dickerson, Devonte Smith, the kids they've drafted this year. Now, in terms of assessing how good they are, that will be determined by the one-loss record at the end of this season. We can only speculate. The product has to improve from what it was a year ago. And we can only sit here and speculate week to week, building up to beyond the 17-game regular season. But as we sit here right now, I have to give Howie credit for being man enough to admit that he needed to do a better job listening to people around him. And look at where the roster is right now. It is arguably, and it's talked about not just locally but nationally, one of the better rosters in the National Football League. Now, obviously, the games aren't played on paper, but as we look at it right now, in terms of talent, youth, depth at certain positions, the most 2 strategic positions on a football team, offensive and defensive line, this team is second to none in the league as we look at it right now.
I'm a resounding yes. I would much rather a boss admit a mistake than compound one. Like, to me, we all know it wasn't working with Arcega-Whiteside. We all know it wasn't working with Reagor. Rather than hide behind, hey, we just can't do it for cap purposes, etc. And part of it was like pride that we took these guys so high, and I don't want to admit to this. I would much rather you cut ties and let them roll. I really would. Like, it's easier to do. I'll give you an example. We've talked about Alex Leatherwood, how he was cut by the Raiders, right? He was a first-round pick last year. Those guys inherited him, right? That group did not draft him. That was still Gruden and Mayock. It's easier to do that and pull a plug when you're taking it over. It's not a good look for the organization, but it's easier to do. Howie is the one who drafted these guys. It was on his watch, yet he's still willing to admit, all right, it was a mistake. Let's move on from it. And not only did you move on, you got value out of Arcega-Whiteside somehow, some way, which you partially moved to wheel and get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So therein lies a real ability there to maneuver this thing. I give him props. I think he has learned. You're never going to be perfect here. You could go through any team and say, oh my God, they took so-and-so here. Look at what went after him. Howie had a rough couple years there. I also think one other thing, and I'm not making an excuse for him. 2020 for everybody was crazy. You couldn't scout the way that you were accustomed to.
No.
There was a lot of things that went down. Now, that's not to say that a lot of teams got it right too, but that, I think, affected a lot of teams in some ways. So I think there's way more good happening. I think he's a different person. He has a different approach. And I think he's more willing to listen to people. And I think that's a big part of this.
And Rob, you look at the players you talked about taking in the second round. You can say 31 other teams passed on those players also.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because a lot of those players could have very easily have been first round picks. I bet teams are kicking themselves. They overlooked DK Metcalf and let him slip to the second round.
Yep.
You know, and it goes, it's par for the course. Nobody's 100% accurate. The draft is a roulette wheel. You spin the wheel. Look at how many first-round picks end up being bust in the National Football League at every position.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hit or miss. You do your homework. Your scouting staff does the homework. You think you have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. You set your board in terms of priority. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I assume that the Eagles, with this young group of players, is going to work out more times than not with the course and how he set himself on now.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Howie made mistakes in the past, kept making mistakes in the past. He learned his lesson well. Even Grandpa had a say. But I said it yesterday in the show, and I've said it many times between May and now. This was the perfect storm for Howie to get out from under Rager and Whiteside, and nobody bat an eye. In years past, had this happened and he gave up on him after a couple of years, this team would have been raining down fire on Howie Roseman for making a mistake.
Absolutely.
But because to me, it was like a cloak and dagger move. You got people jacked up when you got A.J. Brown. You got people jacked up when you got Bradbury. You got them jacked up when you got a safety. And when we found out that J.J.'s gone, Rager's gone, look at how many people are applauding Howie making a move to get rid of him, to make way. A few years ago, that wouldn't have happened. People would have been trashing his organization left and right. No question about it.
But you still got it. I mean, yes, I'm in the same mindset also. You know what I'm saying? You were pushing forward. You saw the mistakes you made. You cut bait, and you went on with it. But there's some damning mistakes that we got to look back on. Like Donnell.
You said about every team, team.
But bro, I'm talking about entire drafts are not on the team. Like 2 entire drafts are not on this team right now.
Yeah,
the entire draft. I mean, come on, man. We're talking about 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I think Barrett. What we've seen, but I don't mean the last 2 years, but what we've seen prior to that is nailed a couple real late ones, like Mailata types, right?
Yes.
Like, whoa, oh my God, unbelievable.
You can't make your living on doing that, though, man.
Right, but I'm saying too many misses high.
Yeah,
like too many high misses. Which,
you're right. Absolutely.
And the one other like postscript to it that you have to include here is he segued pretty quickly out of a disaster not all that long ago. Doug's last year, it was like Deshaun Jackson again. We were rolling that out. Alshon Jeffrey's still here. The receiving core, I'm just giving an example.
Wentz lost his mind.
One position. Wentz lost his mind, and it looked doomed. Like, they looked doomed. He pivoted out of that pretty hard in a good way. And they're still sitting here next year with 2 picks in the first round.
That's right.
Well, also you got to look at this. They were able to. One thing he's very good at, I think, is free agency.
Yeah,
he does a damn good job free agency, but he doesn't until the last 2 years pick high and get value out of those high picks. This is, to me, he's starting now, and he's jumped over the bridge now, and he's now cooking with hot grease, bro. He's making it happen now. But there were so many picks before then that were just so bad, man. It was, I mean, when I say bad, it made me really bad.
Well, I hope it was, look, we need a wake-up call here. We got to change the way that we're going about this because this isn't working. And I think part of it is what we discussed a lot on the show. Let's dig into the SEC, man. Let's dig into Alabama. Let's dig into some of these Georgia, whatever. I mean, these teams that are the big time, there's a reason why these teams are winning national championships. They crank out a lot of talent, man. These dudes can play. So it's not a coincidence. So I think he learned some from that as well. Go dig into the great programs. It's not to say you can't get guys from other places, but
right. Like,
I think he's also really good.
When your boss tells you, why don't we have more of these SEC players on our team? When Grandpa says, how come you keep overlooking the SEC players? You better start taking notice and listening.
You know what the irony is? Howie did his undergrad at Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing he's really good at, guys, and I mean this, he smells blood. Like he knew Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the contracts weren't going well there, the talks. He sniffs A.J. Brown's unhappy, and they can't reach a deal, and he swoops in. And it's what smart executives do. And that's one of his other real strengths is reading a room. Okay, who's having some problems here? All right, I'm going to give Tennessee. Let me give Tennessee a call. See what's going on. All right, let me hit up the Saints. I've dealt with Mickey Loomis before. He's very good at that too, which is a big part of this job, a big part of it for sure. So I think it is. I think it is interesting, an interesting discussion too, because it's not as cut and dry as, oh my God, it's all, you know, sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and all that good stuff.
It is right now.
No, it is.
How was he able to do this though, man? How was he able to get that much value out of these guys? I mean, it's ridiculous how good these guys are right now, man.
Well, the ability to Barrett I keep saying this, but I'll say it again. The ability to not just get guys who fill a need, who are okay, who are borderline starters. You got like stars, like impact, like AJ Brown, Hassan Reddick. These guys are major upgrades. You know, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's a huge upgrade from Anthony Harris. Bradbury, from whatever the Eagles were rolling out there as their second corner last year, is a massive upgrade.
On paper, yes.
On paper, yes.
Yep.
On paper.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before we start the season, they look a lot better. If you're sitting there and you're going through some of these other teams and you look at what their moves were in the offseason, like I was thinking about when you were saying that, Barrett, when you were talking about Detroit, like you were looking at last year and then you're looking at Hard Knocks, and I'm thinking, I know it's Detroit, but I'm thinking like, all right, well, what are the significant upgrades that they made? And not a lot, right? I mean, they're banking on just getting better, second year in the system.
Yep.
Hey, obviously Hutchinson's a big piece to what they're going to be able to do, all those. But I mean, how he was able to swing for the fence in a lot of these, and I do think he hit it out of the park in a lot of ways.
Oh, there's no question. The way this man is able to wheel and deal and fit people under the cap when they don't have much cap space. I always find a way to make cap space. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best in the business at doing that. He's a master Houdini in terms of making things appear when it doesn't look like they can appear. Yeah, you know, that's why I said when you brought the topic up, you got to give him credit. You know, a lot of people don't learn their lesson. They believe in their system, and they're gonna run this system down an organization's throat until you get them out of there. How he adapted, just like Nick Sirianni adapted last season, how he learned how to adapt and become better at his job. And so you got to give him credit for that.
You got to, man. And once again, I give him credit for free agency. How many times do we look at, you know, the number one free agents and be like, oh, no, we can't get him. And what does he do? He goes out and gets him. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm talking about quality free agents he brought in. He says he wants to about Alshon towards the end, but Alshon for 2 or 3 years was one of the top receivers in the league.
Yes, he was. You know a matchup nightmare.
Exactly. You look what he did at the running back position, going out and getting LeGarrette Blount. I forget the kid from down
Ajayi.
Jay Ajayi.
Season. Yep.
I mean, he had his tire was half full, but when it was 3/4 away full, he was balling for us.
Yep.
You know, Chris Long had him in the fold. You know what I'm saying? Made a player out of him.
Patrick Robinson.
He almost had a perfect offseason in that sense.
Corey Brown.
He gets Foles. Well, he gets Foles.
Yep.
Foles has to step in and play. He gets Chris Long. Chris Long has a huge season for them. He has Patrick Robinson steps in, has a huge interception in the NFC Championship game, which flipped that game on its ear. By the way, the quarterback is hit by Chris Long. So he's hit by Long. Robinson picks it off. The Super Bowl, Corey Clement undrafted. He scores a touchdown in
100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
You forget Corey Brown. Say what you want to say. He was the glue in that defense, which allowed Malcolm to do a lot of the stuff he was doing. You know, Malcolm could walk around and run around and do whatever he wanted to do because he had veteran guys there. He didn't do much as far as tackles and stuff like that, but he was helping around. Hey, you got to get over there, making sure guys are doing the right things. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's done a lot.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to get past Donnell Pumphrey. I know I need to stop saying his name, man. I know, man. I do, man. But, you know,
that's one of those bad. Well, look, remember what Jalen Hurts, the advice that he tried to give us, all of us.
Yeah,
sometimes you don't look at it in the bowl, you just flush it.
Yeah. Don't even look back at it.
That's Donnell Pumphrey, man. Just don't look back.
You take the deuce and just, let it go. Just let it fly.
Oh, man. See, did we really go to this level?
He said it. We didn't say it.
I know he did. I know.
You know what? He's like low key funny, even though he's not trying to be sometimes.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts. like that one was like.
I mean,
really,
just right under. Just right up. I mean, it just flew right under the radar.
Come on, man.
A deuce reference. He dropped a deuce reference, and I'm like,
drop the deuce and just keep rolling.
Damn. But he's dead serious when he says it.
That's
but
nasty. That's nasty.
When you hear it, you're like, oh my God, man. Okay. So yeah, that was. I thought it was an interesting discussion there for sure. Did you guys see this too? So the Eagles reportedly put a claim in for Kellen Mond, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it works is the worst teams get the higher choice.
Yep.
So Cleveland had a higher choice than the Eagles did last year.
Yep.
So Cleveland grabbed a smart move by Cleveland to grab him. I
Absolutely.
think there's something there with him, even though it didn't work out for him. But I liked him in college a lot. But he probably would have been Ian Book had they been able to get him. But they weren't, and that's why Book ends up getting some. Book's wearing number 19, by the way. I saw him in practice today for what it's worth.
That's another one of those ugly numbers you talk about.
19's not a great. I like it as a receiver
like
number, but not a quarterback.
I don't like that number at all. I wish.
I don't mind him on a receiver.
19,
I don't like it.
29, 39, 49.
19 reminds me of Bernie Kosar with the Browns.
Right.
He looked like a praying mantis out there. He was like tall and like he was effective. I'm not saying that.
Helmet looked too big for his head.
Those uniforms suck. Cleveland's uniforms are terrible. No offense to your brother, Barry,
I'm yes, offense to him.
Take offense, yeah. But yeah, that's just for what it's worth. That's the number that he's wearing. All right, so when we come back, we're gonna get into a bunch of other stuff. We'll update you on what's happening with practice today. Who the heck's returning punts? Yeah.
Before you go to break, you ready to go to break right now?
Okay, no, go ahead.
You go to break. Something this is interesting.
Yeah.
So it just came across C.J. Stroud, the quarterback for Ohio State.
Yes.
Now we talk about these NILs and players' ability to make money.
Name, image, likeness. Yeah, where you get paid. Yeah.
He just got the entire Ohio State team $500 gift cards from Express so they can get game day uniforms. I bet game day suits. A lot of these kids can't afford suits.
Oh yeah,
no question.
Now think about how many players are on Ohio State's football team. 90 players.
Dude, that's a lot in college. That's an awesome move by C.J. Stroud.
$500. That's a good gift to give your teammates.
Well,
most of them will never see the field this year.
Instead of just saying, and Barry, I know you got to hop off, dude. If you got to go, don't worry about it. But instead of just pulling a move, and Barrett's coming back, by the way, he's just stepping off for 1 second. But instead of just saying, I'm going to get as much as I can get for me, you take care of your boys there. That's cool.
Take care of his boys. That's right.
That's a good move.
That's leadership right there.
Yeah. And that's part of the beauty of the NIL. You can do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Look, I don't fault these guys to get as much money as you can get, period. Okay. But if you can take care of your guys think how not that the offensive line didn't love him already, but think about the way those guys are like, oh man, this dude's a leader. We got this guy's back.
I mean, just think about it, Rob. Take $500 and multiply that, but let's say 80 players. 80. Think about how much money that is.
That's a ton.
And he secures it for his entire team.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's unbelievable. I know we were talking Eagles, but I saw that come across. I said, we got to talk about this. This is crazy.
I love that. I love that, Derek. That's awesome. Wow. All right. So we come back. We'll dig into a little bit what's going on today. We'll ask the question, who's returning punts? I don't know if you've seen Devonte Smith.
Yeah.
My man has been in the weight room. Okay. So we'll show you a little picture of Devonte as well and what he's looking like now. And which Eagles receiver, speaking of Devonte, Derek, will lead them in receiving yards and touchdowns. AJ, Devonte, you can throw Goddard in there if we want to count the tight ends. We'll do all that when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Barrett's going to be back in a little bit as well. So Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. If you're not familiar with Pro Action Restoration, they are the people to call if you have any kind of water, smoke, fire, mold damage to your home, to a property that you own, to your office building, whatever the case may be. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. Their crew is amazing. I can tell you from personal experience, my parents had flooding in their house from bad rains, and they're having an issue with water just kind of backing up into their finished basement a few years back. They were obviously older folks, upset. I called Pro Action. They got over there on a Saturday. They cleaned it up, and the place was spotless. The price was reasonable. The crew was great. And, from there on out, I've been trying to tell everybody I know, that they are the people to go to. They're licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. ProAction will work in conjunction with your insurance company. And again, it could be any of the above: water, fire, smoke, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted, revered.
Appreciated.
He is Action News.
He's compassionate. Honest.
And fair.
He is extremely dedicated,
Motivated. And always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader, and we're lucky to have him.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
We're back on Sports Take on this Thursday. Thanks for hanging with us. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis Barrett will be back in a moment. Smash that like button. Hey, once again, want to just thank everybody. We had an unbelievable month of August here at JAKIB Sports Network, our entire channel, and we had killer programming basically from 7 a.m. All the way up until 7 p.m. But we went over 1 million views for the month of August, and Derek, I can't wait for September, man. We are going to just up the ante in so many different ways with programming, with the stuff that we have planned, with our game day coverage as well. It's going to be awesome. But thank you from the bottom of our collective hearts here at JAKIB Media. We appreciate it very much.
Hey, that just goes to show you when you put quality programming out there, people will respond. Like anything else, it takes a little while for people to catch on. A lot of people initially back in the spring, who is this JAKIB Media? Where can you find it? So on and so forth. But as we continue to roll out shows and names attached to these shows, people find what they want to find in a hurry. So yes, thank you everybody out there for being loyal viewers. Thank you for being a part of our daily coverage, our daily discussions. It's almost like we're starting to get to know these people personally because we see so many regulars in here on a daily basis. And, you know, their comments are funny. They take their shots. You know, that's fine too. You know, we're thick-skinned enough to handle this. You know, we've been around the block many times in this industry. We know what it's like. But the bottom line is, you people keep coming back because obviously you like what we're putting out there, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah,
it's only going to get better, man.
Well said. And we just went
happy
over,
to be a part of. Yeah,
same. And we just went over 18,000 subscribers just recently.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, well, like again, we'll keep delivering for you. Trust me, we appreciate you you hanging with us. All right, so we're talking Eagles as we do each and every day here. Mentioned earlier, but just to pass it along, this is important. Jason Kelce's back, and you know the fact, Gunner, that he's getting the end of this week and then the entirety of next week to be ready for that opener, man, that's big time. And I know that was the plan all along, but you never know sometimes. But saw him out there, he looked good. He was moving some bodies, man, and he looked like he was ready to roll.
Look, if Jason Kelce didn't come back in practice until next week, Jason Kelce's going to be ready to roll no matter what. You know, you look at the guys who you were talking about that had been out extensively for a while. They're ballers, straight up ballers. They don't, you know, and the kudos to Nick Sirianni. They know how to back off, give these guys extended rest. They don't need them right now. They need them when the season counts. And so them not being out there, giving other guys reps, which is only going to make this team that much deeper when the games count for real. Great scenario all the way around. Hopefully Miles Sanders holds up. That's a big if in terms of the running game and catching the ball out of the backfield. But right now it looks like Miles is ready to go. He's back at practice today. Now, we don't know if he was working out on the side or if he was actually working with the team. Still waiting to hear more on that.
Yeah, he was doing some stuff in drills, Derek. I don't know the extent, how extensive it was, but he was in the running back drills. He was right there. So that's a good sign. That's a real good sign, man. They're getting something out of him. That's big. Kelce being back is big. And here's the thing. I mean, if one of your main goals was to get to the finish line meaning the end of the preseason in one piece. Yes. They've done that. Okay. Yep. Now it's a matter of, you better be ready week one with the way you've gone about things, or else it's going to be, there's going to be hell to pay. I think this Detroit game is going to be closer than Barrett does. I know, look, Barrett's been breaking down the film, and I respect that. He thinks the Eagles, especially on the defensive line, are just going to wreak havoc with Detroit's offensive line. This still feels like a competitive game to me going into this thing right now.
I think it's going to be a little bit closer game only because, number one, the rust factor. The Eagles regulars not getting a lot of reps in the preseason, which is good when you look at some of the teams that have been decimated by injuries already. Baltimore's backfield once again is up in arms. They don't know. We know Gus Edwards is not playing. J.K. Dobbins, they're not telling you anything. Mm-hmm. The Giants have been decimated along the offensive line in terms of injuries. So this team is going into the season relatively healthy. Detroit's battle cry has been, remember what the Eagles did to us last year. Yep. This is our season opener. This is our home opener. Do not go out there and embarrass yourselves the way we did a season ago. And, I think that's going to make for a good game. I think the Eagles better talent on the field, more cohesive unit, played together a little bit longer for many of these guys. So I think it's going to be competitive for a while. Then I expect the Eagles to win the game. When it's all said and done, when the dust settles.
Okay, I want you to see this shot. So this is a still of Devonte Smith meeting with the media the other day. Now, do you remember how skinny he was?
Yep.
Coming out of Alabama. Now, I'm not telling you all of a sudden the guy's DK Metcalf, but my man's been working this offseason. It is clear. His arms are way bigger than they were when he was coming out of Alabama as a rookie last year.
Now he's talked about his affection for Wawa. You're not getting a bill like that at Wawa. I'm telling you that right now. I guess
it depends what you get, Derek.
I
don't know.
Look, bro, I don't care what you buy at Wawa. You're not getting a bill like that.
He's in there
that man's put in the work.
Lifting aisle 1 and aisle 2. Maybe that gets you big like that. I don't know.
That man put in the work to get to where he is right now. And, a good move for him and the Eagles training staff, because he needed to be a little bit bigger, because you got to absorb a lot of blows in this game, man. Yeah. And the Devonte Smith last year, you can't keep taking that kind of punishment as a player, even a young player. So he put on the body weight. It's not going to affect his speed and flexibility. I think he did a great job in terms of getting himself to where he needs to be as a physical specimen for the rigors to come in 2022.
And look, this guy had a really good rookie year. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
He was really being the only threat on the outside. Again, I'm not trying to dance on Rager or any of that, but I'm just saying You had a guy who you really didn't have to respect that much if you're an opposing defense, and you're a rookie just kind of learning this thing, and you still get 600 catches and 900 yards.
Almost 900 yards. Almost 1,000.
Right.
Almost.
You average more than 14 per catch. So, that's a damn good rookie year, man. It wasn't, the explosion that we saw out of Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, but, really, really good. So that said, Derek, looking at it,
right,
you bring in A.J. Brown now, an established, if he's fully healthy, star who had 3 great years in Tennessee. And you have Devonte. There's only one ball to go around here.
Right.
They're also going to be a team that runs the ball. They're successful on the ground. Which of the, and you would throw Goddard in too.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those 3 do you think will have the most receiving yards for the Eagles this year?
I think Devonte will. I think Devonte will have the most receiving yards. I think there's going to be so much emphasis on trying to take an A.J. Brown out of the game that Devonte is going to get a lot of one-on-one coverages, and I think he will be your leading receiver. I don't know if he'll reach 1,000 yards because of the way this offense is structured and the way Sirianni likes to spread the wealth. I think he'll be close to 1,000 yards again, but I would say right now, if I was a betting man, I would bet on him being your leading receiver in terms of total yards.
It's an interesting way to look at it, especially early in the year, it's going to be, we have to contain A.J. Brown. If we don't contain A.J. Brown, he's going to light us up, which could mean a lot of single coverage for Devonte Smith. The beauty of Devonte Smith, Derek, is he's such a precision route runner.
Yep.
That he can hurt you in sort of that mid-range game underneath. But he is also, make no mistake, he's the guy who caught that ball that Tua threw in the national championship game. The dude can run.
Absolutely.
He can beat you on a deep ball too. So there's a multitude of ways that guy can hurt you. And,
absolutely.
I think you're right. Like I could very well see him getting over 1,000 yards, and maybe A.J. Brown is 800, 900, but that doesn't mean he isn't crazy effective.
Right.
It just may not show up necessarily in the yards because the other team is saying, we're taking you away, man.
I think A.J. Brown and Goddard are going to be your 2 main targets in the red zone, and rightfully so. I mean, A.J. can out physical. Just about anybody's going to cover him. And Dallas Goedert has that knack for just finding a way to get open. And I think they're going to be, one of those 2 will be your touchdown leaders. And that's a good thing. You like to have, we like to say, man, you got 2 1,000-yard receivers, and we've seen some teams end up with 2 1,000 yards receivers. Mm-hmm. But I think, Nick wants to get his backs into the passing game also. Jalen Hurts is going to do his check down thing, and that's not a bad thing as long as you're keeping the chains moving. They have so many different ways to go with this offense and the weapons that they have. Individual numbers are secondary in terms of the overall numbers, which is winning. I'm with you. I don't care. And here's the beauty. I don't know AJ as well, but I don't think certainly Devonte is going to be upset if, the numbers aren't off the charts if the team's winning. The other thing you have to deal with in the red zone, and this is a good problem for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is so dynamic with his legs. Absolutely. He rushed for 10, himself last year. Absolutely. So you may not have as many opportunities as some other teams do who are going to try and get it through the air. You could, whether it's a draw, a design keep by Jalen Hurts, he may keep it himself and score. You might not have as many opportunities. You know what? And that's another problem for defenses to worry about. You can't cover everything with a good offense. You can't. When you look at the better offenses in the National Football League, why are they the better offenses? Because they hit you in so many multiple ways. You look at an offense that Tom Brady ran for years. He didn't always have the big names. Now, he did it tight end, but he didn't always have the big names. But anybody stepped on that field was a viable option. Right. That's why that man led the league in passing for as many times as he has, because you don't know where he's going to. Tom Brady, made sure you understood. He didn't always have a favorite target. He had an open target. He would always find that open target, and that's what I hope this Eagles offense turns out to be. Not so much the quarterback leaning on 1 or 2 individuals, but giving the defense the mindset of who is he going to next, which totally takes the defense out of the structure in a lot of cases because your head's constantly on a swivel trying to figure out who's coming open, where am I supposed to be? Yeah. And that's a good thing. I'll tell you what's really interesting to me going into the season. I feel like I don't know
exactly how Shane Steichen wants to go about things. And you can throw Nick in there too, but I'm just saying the guy who's calling the plays. Because last year they had to pivot off into that running attack, which was great. I mean, it got them to the playoffs. But we know they want to throw more. We know they have better weapons. If you're anticipating growth out of Jalen Hurts, you should be more effective in the pass game. One of the things Steichen said yesterday, was absolutely Jalen Hurts will be a much better deep ball thrower. So they're going to attack things a little bit differently this year, but I just don't have a good feel for him calling a game. It's not a bad thing. I just don't have a feel for him right now.
No, I mean that's another of the many. Put that in the category of the unknown mysteries about this team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I said before, many times before, it's like a daytime soap opera. You know, will Jalen Hurts improve? How much better and bigger will Devonte Smith be in year number 2? Can Shane Steichen call a game effectively? Is Jonathan Gannon the right man to call the defense? Those stories and more coming up on the latest edition of As the Eagles Turn.
Right.
You know, and it's true. You know, there's so many unknown commodities we don't know about this team. You can go in saying that we know definitive things about a number of teams. We know Tennessee wants to be a rugged, physical type team. We know Pittsburgh wants to play rugged physical football on both sides of the football. We know the Rams are going to air it out, and they're also physical on defense. You know, but we assume certain things about this Eagles team. We know they have the defensive personnel to get the job done. We know they have one of the better offensive lines in the game. We know they have capable backs, but then we have that what if with the backs. What if with Gannon calling the team, with Steichen calling offensive plays. You know, so that's what makes this team so intriguing, because we're sitting here talking about the what ifs, and think about the opposing defensive coordinators trying to prepare for this team with the what ifs, with the new additions on this team. Nobody knows.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's the beauty of heading into a new season. We're not really sure exactly what certain things are going to look like. We know the weapons are there. Like it was funny. They were talking to Nick Sirianni today, and they were asking him about getting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson acclimated, right? And he said, "You know what? We pay Jonathan Gannon a lot of money. We pay these other coaches a lot of money. In other words, they'll figure it out, or they better figure it out." So, the weapons that Steichen has, figure it out, man.
Hey, coordinators nowadays get 7 figures. They don't make the money the coaches do, but they get 7 figures nowadays, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So if you're paying you 7 figures, you better bring a 7-figure product on the football field. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And I don't know what Jeff Stoutland's making, but whatever it is, it's not enough.
Not enough.
It's unbelievable.
Obviously, he's making enough to keep him here, because I'm sure he's had other offers to do some other things, whether it's the college ranks or the pros, and he keeps re-signing with the Eagles. So, and the Eagles are not in a hurry to let him get away.
I'll tell you what, one of the really big wins that we're talking about Howie and some of the moves that he made with players. How about after Doug is shown the door, there was a lot of speculation that Stoutland was going to go back to the University of Alabama. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you kept him, man, for however you did it, or whether he loves the area or whatever the case may be. He's still here. That is one of the biggest moves they made, that he's still an Eagle.
I think a lot of college coaches, once they get a taste of the NFL lifestyle, it's hard for them to go back unless they're forced to go back. College, if you're playing at if you're coaching at a premier college program, you have the red carpet rolled out to you. There's no question about that. But once you get to the NFL level, even with the lower tier teams, that's a different lifestyle you lead, man. That's a different financial stratosphere that you get into. You get certain perks at the NFL levels that you don't get at the college levels. You become part of a fraternity that's second to none in terms of how you're treated in a lot of ways. And if you do your job, you can have a long, profitable career, whether it's a position coach, a coordinator, or a head coach. You can have a long, profitable career in the NFL. Look at how many coaches bounce around in the NFL instead of going back to college. And, you look at a lot of their resumes once they get to the NFL. They'll take their job as a DB coach. They'll take their job as a linebacking coach. Why? Because the lifestyle is a lot different, a lot better at this level than it is at the collegiate level.
Yeah, no question. All right, so we're sitting here. They have an extra roster spot. We're not exactly sure how that's going to shake out, but there doesn't seem to be a real defined candidate to return punts. Quez Watkins, it looks like it's going to be the kick returner. but we don't know right now. You could call up Covey off of the practice squad. He's there, break glass in case of emergency, or they're going to be bringing somebody in. What's your best guess? What, the guy that we're talking about come, a week from Sunday?
Man, here we go. Another big mystery. Now that Rager's not here, hard to say, Rob. I mean, could it be Covey? I mean, we think it should be him based on what we've seen from his collegiate level performance. And a few times I've seen him wiggle his way up the field. I think he would be a great addition back there returning punts. He appears to be sure-handed. He's got the quickness. He's got the moves. He has everything you want. So if I'm a betting man, my odds-on favorite would be him. But wow, would you consider putting Devonte Smith back there? I don't know. I
would not. I would absolutely not. I don't think that person's on the roster. That's my guess.
It could be. I couldn't agree with you more. And if anybody's going to find the best available option, it's that man named Howie. He's got a roster spot open. So I can't wait to see, because I think, we'll find out from the media. I think it will be defined a lot more next week when they start installing the game plan for Detroit. In terms of who's going to be back there, because the Philadelphia media doesn't miss a trick in terms of being the eyes in the sky in terms of who they're looking at. So I think we'll get a much clearer picture come next week.
But I think really it's nice to be going into a season right now. Like I was reading some quotes from the Giants GM Shane, I believe is how you pronounce it, the guy who came over from Buffalo with Dable, and he was basically like, "We're trying to get through the day." In other words, we're so banged up. We're in survival mode already, and they haven't even played a snap yet. I'm thinking, like, how awful is that? Number one, but number two, if our biggest question as we sit here right now is, okay, they're a little bit short, maybe a punt returner. That's a real good place to be.
It's a luxury. It's a luxury to have. That's the least of their concerns, because I'm sure they've identified several candidates to put back there already. People that we're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's a part of me that believes maybe that return guy isn't on the roster yet. They seem to be solidified at every other position except that one. And I think I don't want to say put it on the back burners, but they want to make sure they've got everything else up to speed before they worried about that. And the good thing is they have more than a week to figure it out.
Yeah. You got time. That's for sure. And if you're just tuning in and you missed it, the captains from the offensive side, Kelsey, Hurts, Lane Johnson. Defensive side, Graham, Slay, Cox, and special teams is Jake Elliott. So I want to go back to Hurts for a minute. I know he's the quarterback. I know that may seem pretty obvious to people. Of course, they're going to have him be a captain. But he's in his third year. It's only his second full year as a starter. Most of those other guys are vets. Kelsey, been around forever. Lane, been around forever. Graham, been around forever. Slay, a long NFL career, not as long here. Fletcher Cox, been around forever. Elliott was on the Super Bowl team. That's a tribute to the way these guys feel about Jalen Hurts.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Your coaching staff in your organization invested in him. The mindset in this offseason was, okay, let's make the personnel around him that much better. Now we're going to find out exactly how much better your quarterback is. If this defense lives up to expectation, the defense can take a lot of pressure off of him by shortening the field or forcing the opposition into a lot of 3-and-outs, which means that offense is getting the ball back that much more. You've given him better options. The younger options are a year older, a year smarter, and a year wiser into Nick Sirianni's offensive scheme. So everything is in place for this quarterback to succeed. Now the onus is on the quarterback. How much better will he be in terms of going through his progressions? How much better will he be in terms of sitting in that pocket just a little bit longer and waiting for one of his targets to free themselves? How much will he be in terms of walking up to the line of scrimmage and deciphering for what he's seeing across that line of scrimmage? Those are a lot of little things, but they all add up to the big things in terms of helping the Eagles organization identify whether Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, not just in 2022, but beyond the season.
And he's an interesting guy in that he exudes confidence. I think he is uber confident. I don't think he's cocky, because I think he's still hungry and wants to get better. That's a really good combination to have that ability. I think he's also one who tunes out the noise. I think he's one who can move on from a bad game or a bad play and doesn't sit there and pat himself on the back after a good one. So I think he's got all of that quarterback sort of mindset that you want. And now he's been given the tools, Derek. He's been given that additional. It's only one guy, really. Your offensive line's still the same. Your running back's still the same. Devonte, Dallas Goedert, but A.J. Brown is such a game changer. And those two go way back. How much is that chemistry going to be big for them?
That's going to be huge in terms of having a comfort level with his guys he's known since high school, guys he played with in college. That's going to be huge. For a kid to be 24 years old, I think he has the perfect chemical makeup to handle the pressure of a highly pressurized market like Philadelphia. This is one of the more critical markets in all the NFL. You have to have a certain makeup to be able to handle this thing when things are going bad. And I think the Eagles did a great job in identifying once they decided to move on from Carson Wentz, that this kid has that it factor, number one, of being able to handle the pressures of Philadelphia. Now, does he have the physical gifts? The Eagles feel that he does, obviously, because he's still here. He is still their frontline quarterback. They've said that from day one after the 2021 season ended. He has handled himself well above his years of maturity whenever he steps in front of a microphone. Obviously, we don't know what he's like away from the camera, but he has been well groomed in terms of not being rattled by anything that is said about him or said to him. That's a big part of it. Now you've got to tie in the physical attributes with this to become that complete quarterback who can survive at this level. And I think that he has it. You know, we've heard all the positives about how much he's improved. Okay, that's in a controlled environment. Now it's all free fall from here on out every week, starting next week.
Well, I said to you yesterday, one of the things that impressed me about Nick Sirianni was the veteran players bought into him, no matter what the situation was, Kelsey and Cox and all those guys. I feel the same way about the quarterback. The vets really have his back. I think some of it was, you know, look, things went off the rail with Wentz, even though he had his backers in that locker room. But someone like Jason Kelsey is astute enough to step back and look around and say, you know what, this isn't good, what's happening here. And I think they're really thankful that they have somebody who's so mature and gets it. Obviously, he's got to play. I know he's got to make plays on the field. But I think these guys are really behind him in this locker room. I believe that truly.
Well, they have no choice. You know, you have no choice but to rally around him. And they're smart enough to know you don't want dissension. You don't want rumors getting out that you have reservations. That's not good. That's not good for the health of this team going into a season. You know, every team at this point now is rallying around each other because of anticipation. And the Eagles have done a great job of putting players in the locker room who are smart enough to know, hey, look, you have to bring this thing together. You have to fuse it together and keep it together. And part of that is rallying around your quarterback. Now, you look at some of these guys, Kelsey, twilight of his career, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, twilight of their careers.
Yeah.
They want to win now. They don't want to be part of a rebuilding process. You know, and in the guys that I've talked to have said, you know, they like what this kid Hurts is about. They like his maturity. He handles himself as a veteran, a seasoned veteran. And so, yes, they're going to rally around him, because if they rally around him, keep his spirits uplifted, even if things are going bad, that bodes well for the overall team, because we know historically you can win in spite of your quarterback. You know, you can do that if you have the right personnel. We've seen teams do that, you know, but with this kid, if he does what we think he's capable of doing, and that he doesn't have to be great, just be consistently good. Doesn't have to be great. With what you have on paper right now in terms of personnel on both sides of the football, a good quarterback can win a lot of games for this team. Now, if he's great, more power to him and this organization, because that solves your quarterback problem for years to come. And you're going to have to pay him. Like the way the money's flowing around the league right now, you're going to have to pay him. But it solves your quarterback issues, and you can strengthen other areas, because you're going to lose X amount of players after this season. You know, you got all these guys on one-year deals. These guys are thinking, okay, I'm here with the Philadelphia Eagles. I have a chance to win. But also, if I ball out, I've got a whole bunch of other teams that might be willing to pay me a lot more money. So you're going to have to replenish the cupboard again in 2023. And when you look at where they are draft-wise, youth-wise, they're in a good position not to have to do an abundance of replenishing, but they can well stock the cupboards again with the draft picks they have and the money they're going to have in cap space.
You bring up something really interesting, which we're going to get into right around 2:00. Russell Wilson got paid. Not a shock, but he got paid, right? So, and I know Lamar Jackson's still out there, and again, we'll dive into that too. However, you think about what a critical year this is. So if Jalen Hurts goes out there and plays well, he's all of a sudden in conversations. I'm not saying he's getting Russell Wilson money, but he's in these sort of, maybe next tier right below that conversation, because he will be going into his last year in 2023. Sorry. If it goes the other way for him, considering the Eagles have 2 draft picks, he either may not be the starter next year or he may not be here. There is such a pendulum swing here with this season for Jalen Hurts. It's amazing, really, when you think about it.
And there's also the possibility he could play out his rookie contract next year also.
Yeah.
The Eagles may spend a lot more money somewhere else and force him to play on his rookie contract, which bodes well for them and possibly him, because if he balls out next season, then he's going to be paid a lot more. The scale continues to go up, not down for quarterbacks in the NFL. That only bodes well for him and his management team in terms of getting that much more money. If he puts together 2 consecutive good years under a rookie contract, man, that dude's set for life after that.
No, he is. There's no question about it. And look, there's a lot of different ways this thing could go. But one of the things we talked about yesterday was the Eagles were able to do what they're doing because you're not paying him or Minshew anything.
Right.
I mean, you look at what the comparison is with some other organizations. That's why one of the reasons why I think Howie viewed this offseason, like, I'm going to be super aggressive because I can do it now. I may not be able to do it going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they may have to trade one of those picks if they have to pay Hurts in the offseason, one of those first rounders away.
True.
I mean, nothing's out of the question.
But that's all right because they'll still have a first-round pick.
And you'll have a quarterback,
Absolutely.
an established quarterback at that point. All right, so we'll come back. We'll continue with the NFL talk. Like I said, Russell Wilson got paid. We'll look at it, how that affects Lamar Jackson, how that kind of shakes out for him and his camp. His camp is him and his mother. His mother's his representative. So we'll talk about that. Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Josh Gordon back in the news, Denzel Mims. And one of the things we're gonna get into, Derek, second-year quarterbacks, the Trevor Lawrences, the Zach Wilsons, the Trey Lances, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Those guys are headed into their second year, which are supposed to be such a big leap. We remember what Wentz did from his 16 season to his 17 season.
Right.
So the question is, which of those guys takes the biggest leap, and how would you rank those quarterbacks? We will do that as well. Yeah, it's a biggie, man. And we'll do a bunch of other stuff when we get back. Phillies win. Phillies put up an 18 spot and get 22 hits last night. We will talk about them as well. Don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports, YouTube Network, Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. All right, let's talk Razor technology because data is everywhere in business today. But when it's locked away in silos, it can't be efficiently used, and businesses don't have time to wait for the insights that shape decision-making. Razor Technology's data management not only integrates data from wherever it's generated or collected, but provides a uniform structure for storing, interpreting, and distributing it to decision makers. Razor helps businesses transform and model their data, use it to populate real-time dashboards, and create shareable reports like highlight key areas of progress, as well as warning signs in need of attention. Smart data analytics and the tools to make data insights easily digestible help businesses of all sizes and types where they could be untapping significant savings. Razor Technology can help you break down your silos and fully realize the value of your data to drive growth for your business. To learn more, contact Razor Tech today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com, razor-tech.com.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted, revered.
Appreciated.
He is Action News.
He's compassionate. Honest.
And fair.
He is extremely dedicated,
Motivated. And always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader. And we're lucky to have him.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Okay, we are back. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis Barrett will be back with us very shortly. He will be hopping back on, had some other stuff he had to tend to, but he will be back with us. All right, Derek. So first two games in the desert were not pretty, my man, for the Phils, but they came back in a big way last night. The bats absolutely explode. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Bats absolutely explode for an 18 spot, 22 hits. They dropped a 7 spot in the 8th. All 9 starters, Derek, had multiple hits and drove in a run.
Yep.
They answered the bell last night. It was looking like it was going to be an ugly, potential sweep, but no, wasn't the case.
Falter, we were joking yesterday after what we watched Arizona do to this pitching staff the first 2 games, and we said, okay, Falter's pitching. We're like, uh-oh.
Yep.
He pitched better than anybody else in the entire series.
Yeah.
Same
thing. He's done it the last 4 starts.
In the Mets. He did it against the Mets, remember?
Yep.
When they had that 4-game series against
he had the
Mets.
only win of the starters.
Yep. But the Phillies, they needed a bounce back game, man. They needed one in a big way. Dude, what is it about this team playing in Arizona? They had lost 7 straight there. Their record there over the last several years was horrendous. And they're playing an Arizona team this series that's rebuilding. And Arizona was tattooing the pitcher to the point they had to use a position player, Maton, to pitch at one point. Arizona turns around, had to use a position. Did you see the Ephus pitches he was throwing up to the plate last night? Dude.
The catcher, it was horrible.
Dude, it was at one point, Harper, after one inning, Harper walked up to him and was like, man, I feel for you. I mean, he's just sitting back there like softball, just tattooing pitches left and right. I felt bad for the guy after a while. I'm thinking, okay. And then he busted the plate. His best pitch, he busted the plate with a 71-mile-an-hour fastball.
I know.
Like, my goodness.
Yeah. It was bad.
This was huge. Big bounce back because you got San Diego breathing down your neck. The Brewers are still on the outside looking in as well. And now they're going to move up to close and play a San Francisco team that had lost 11 of his last 13.
Yeah.
I still don't feel comfortable about it because San Francisco took it to them. Did San Francisco take 2 out of 3 from them earlier this season?
Yeah. And it's still Gabe Kapler, which
Kapler.
You still wonder. Yeah.
And you're playing in their park.
Yep. Anytime you go on the West Coast, I mean, it's dicey. Yeah, you just never know.
Well, the thing is, how's the pitching staff going to be used now? Because Arizona exhausted the Phillies pitching staff this series.
Yeah.
So how does your pitching staff going to bounce back? Because you still and now what happened? Falter goes out with a groin injury.
Yeah, they think it's going to be okay, but you're right. That's a little scary. And Gibson goes Friday. They're off tonight. So
right.
They have a nice travel day, which they could use. Gibson, you just kind of never know from start to start. He's Friday.
Yep.
Syndergaard, who wasn't good in his last outing on Sunday, he'll go Saturday. And then you hope Suarez, whatever that was, man, with Suarez the other night, he's cruising through 3, and then it's tattooed. It's batting practice after that. I don't know.
I don't either, man. And you know, San Francisco, they can hit a little bit, especially in their backyard. You know, they're under 500, but they're not out of this wild card conversation yet. I think they're only like maybe 6 games out of the wild card conversation right now. 5-6 games. So
yeah, it's a long climb for them.
It is.
You know, they're 10.5 back of the wild card. So
so they've dropped to 10.5 because of this losing streak they've been on.
Yeah, the Phils are still a half game up on the Padres in the second spot.
And what, 2.5 up on the Brewers?
2.5 up on the Brewers. Yeah, so that's kind of where it is right now. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't take anything for granted. Look, we thought they were going to run through the Diamondbacks, and they dropped the first 2 in that series. So. But last night was crazy. I mean, Derek, they had 29 runners in scoring position. The Phillies were 15 of 29 in scoring position.
Yes.
That's like 3-4 games sometimes.
They set a season high for hits and runs. 18 runs, 22 hits. I hope they're not bat weary when they get to San Francisco.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about Syndergaard for a moment because we were applauding him because when he got here, he started out 3-0 as a Philly, something like that, 3-0. But and then, of course, he had the bad outing, his last outing. If you look at his numbers from the bad outing compared to his good outings, his winning outings, the numbers are very similar. Yeah. It's not like he's been a dominant pitcher. He's been a good pitcher. He's gotten key outs, but the numbers are very similar.
Yeah.
And so you got to watch that closely because when they start playing some of these better teams, will it hurt him or help him? He's a smart pitcher, a wily veteran. He knows how to get the big out when he has to, knows how to get the ground ball out but because his numbers have been so similar since he's been here, that makes me a little concerned about him when he steps to the hit.
I'm with you. He's a contact guy, and he's still learning how to be, you know, he's used to back in the day before the surgery, blowing guys away.
Yes.
He was 100 miles an hour. He's a heater. And you're right, Derek. Like if I'm being real with you, I think he benefited by playing some of these bad teams, by facing some of these bad teams.
And having a potent lineup behind him.
Yeah, and you get the Braves, man, and some of these other squads that they're going to be dealing with soon. I need to see it. Like, I'm not sold that he's figured out, he's reinvented himself. Let me put it to you that way. I'm not there.
That's what
that's worrisome. What really needs to happen is I believe it's tomorrow or Saturday. Wheeler's going to throw a bullpen. So if he comes out of that feeling clean, he might start Tuesday back here. So you get him back that quickly. They're feeling, at least right now, that what we've heard is they feel pretty good about Sir Anthony's progress. So you get your closer back, you get your ace back. Then you just feel like everything falls back into place and you take a deep breath.
Yeah.
But right now it's sketchy. And you make a really good point. You destroyed not last night, but you destroyed the bullpen the first 2 games.
Yes, you did.
So maybe by Falter going as deep as he went, and Falter, he did a great job. 6 1/3, 1 run. He didn't walk anybody.
No.
Really good. They've won his last 4 starts. But with that and a day off, hopefully that kind of just recharges these guys enough where, you know, they're going to be okay at least over the weekend in San Francisco. Because you got to take 2 out of 3.
You have to. But it's going to force this bullpen to extend themselves a little bit further, maybe in some situations. Guys like Hand, they're going to have to extend themselves until they get some of these pieces back. And, you know, you're talking about Wheeler's on course to come back. That's not a certainty. Sorry, Anthony is on course. That's not a certainty when he's coming back. Nope. So these guys are going to have to play roles they're not accustomed to playing or weren't brought in here to play, you know, until further notice. You know, we all thought Eflin was coming back in a short amount of time. He's gone for the season. You know, now, you know, we're talking about Falter with his groin. They think he's going to be okay. They thought Eflin was going to be okay. They kept putting him out there. You know, how many times did they put him out there on that knee?
Yeah.
And then took him out to the point where now he's gone for the season.
Maybe.
And you got to, you know what I'm saying? So you got to watch these groin injuries, you know, with these guys, man.
That's fair. All right. I want to switch gears. I was thinking about this, something, you know, peaked this when you were talking the last segment, Eagles wise. And we asked the question, who would have more receiving yards? Would it be Devonte Smith or AJ Brown? But then we started, when Barrett was talking about the defensive line, I started thinking about this because you can take it a lot of different ways. Who leads this team in sacks? You got Hassan Reddick. You've got Brandon Graham coming back. You have Sweat. You have Hargrave, who I believe led them last year. I'll pull it up, but be certain. You know, it's a good thing that you're not exactly sure who, but look, I hope it's Reddick. You paid the guy a lot of money.
Yes.
It would mean you're using him the right way. That's who I hope it is. Barrett seems to think Sweat will lead them in sacks.
Right.
So Hargrave had 7.5 last year, and Sweat had 7.5 for what it's worth. And then your second closest was, man, they didn't get a lot of sacks. Your second, the guy after that, Derek, was Fletcher Cox with 3.5.
Oh, jeez.
Hassan Ridgeway had 2. Milton Williams had 2. Barnett had 2. And that's it. That's not good. Anyway, so it better be more collectively than that, period. But who do you think leads them?
Well, Reddick came out and said that he feels good about how he's being deployed in this defense. So because of his recent history in sacks, I'm going to lean towards Reddick. I know Barrett likes Sweat, and, you know, Barrett has been singing Sweat's praise all training camp long. And I think Sweat is a viable candidate because I love his burst off the ball. I love his ability to get up and under a lot of these bigger offensive tackles. But I just think Hassan Reddick, having 23.5 sacks over the last couple of years, is that guy who's going to lead the charge. I think Sweat will be a close second. I think Brandon Graham's going to get his 6, 7, 8 sacks. You know, Hargrave's going to get his 4 or 5, maybe, 6. But I think Reddick, right now, my leading candidate would be Reddick to be the sack leader on this team.
I think you're right. I also look at it like it's a good thing. There's potential. Maybe I think the wealth is going to be spread out a lot better. Like I think Fletcher Cox will have more than he had last year. You could very well see, and it's going to be limited opportunities, mind you. But Milton Williams get you more than 2. Hargrave's essentially playing for a contract. I think he will deliver for them as well. Like I think the ante's going to be upped by a lot of these guys. Like collectively, they were second to last in sacks last year, Derek, which is awful. Obviously, with the talent that they have now, you could jump from second to last in sacks to top 5 or 7. I think they're in that range with these players they have.
I agree with you, but I've been generous in saying there's no excuse for them not being in the top 15. If they're in the top 15 in quarterback sacks, I can accept that. I think they have the personnel, like you said, to be in the top 5 or 6 in terms of quarterback sacks. But I'll settle for top 15 compared to where they were last year. That's 100% improvement.
Oh, it is.
You're
more than double
31st.
You're flipping yourself into the upper echelon.
Yeah, from 31st to 15.
Yeah,
that's 100% improvement.
Yeah.
And so I'll take that. If they're better than that, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's a luxury to have. But not just the sacks, but they've got to improve quarterback hurries, quarterback hits.
Yes.
You've got to make these quarterbacks feel as uncomfortable as possible. When you look at the overall body of quarterbacks they're going to play, there's not a lot of names on this list that strike fear. When you think about it, there's a few that's going to give you some problems. Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, obviously Dak Prescott. But you look at most of them, Carson Wentz, we don't know what he is, or is not. Look at some of these other quarterbacks they're going to face.
You're saying in terms of mobility?
No, just in terms of being able to beat you on the blitz consistently.
Okay.
I'm thinking Dak, Rodgers, Matt Ryan. Those three.
I mean, Cousins.
Cousins
you
and
can
Cousins.
get to
4.
him, though.
Okay,
you can
4.
get to him.
But Cousins is a smart quarterback, too. He's going to get rid of the ball when he has to. He's not going to take a lot of hits. So I say 4 out of 17 games. That plays to your favor. When you look at the body of wealth of talent this team has to attack a quarterback, I think, when I think about Dak, Cousins, Rodgers, Ryan.
Keep it. Kyler Murray can move.
But those four I'm talking about, they're not quarterbacks that you worry as much about them being the ability to run the football.
Right.
They can kill you with the pass or reading defenses and beat you on the blitz.
I'm sorry. I got you.
Saying?
Reading a blitz.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about the ability to. If you miss them on that rush, they got wide open space to kill you.
No,
those are the kind of quarterbacks they're going to pick up their 5, 6, 7 yards and duck.
Yeah.
When you talk about a Kyler Murray, he's looking for the home run every time he hits that open field, and he's got the moves to make a lot of people look bad when he hits that open field.
No,
those other four are not those type of quarterbacks.
I think you're right, and they may be those opponents may be the ones that you're not as aggressive. I know Eagles fans don't want to hear that.
Right.
But that might be where, front, whatever front you're playing, whether 4-man front, odd man front, you got to get home, man, in this game.
Yep. And you got to make sure you're covering on the back end because you let them stand back there and pat the ball, they will find that open guy.
That's why Green Bay is going to be so interesting this year without Devonte Adams.
Yeah.
They may not be as potent, right?
Right.
It may not be the same kind of an offense, but I almost feel like this is really we're going to see kind of what Aaron Rodgers is made of now. At this point, almost 40
That's weird
years
to
old,
say that. Yeah.
I know it's ridiculous because he's great, but what I mean by that is just you really took a safety blanket away from him, and he's going with either really inexperienced or guys who have just been okay, or Cobb's older, but whatever. He's not the same player, so it's a lot different than what he's had. I mean, he's had a top 3 receiver in the game for how many years has Devonte Adams been there? 5 years, whatever it's been.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, too, that's intriguing. He has more speed now at the wideout than he's ever had before.
Yeah.
When you're talking about these young kids now, these young kids have to find the way. They Romeo Doubs, there's Toure. They got Sammy Watkins. Say what you want to say about him being on the downside of his career, but he's a very quick, elusive receiver. Right. So he has more speed now at that position. And we know Aaron Rodgers can sling the deep ball. Mm-hmm. We can, so
we know that
these kids can get open in these intermediate routes.
And it's out quick.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
He's not going to sit back there and hold that ball long and take a lot of unnecessary hits. And now, and if his tight end back, and Robert Tonyan is back also at full strength off that ACL tear,
who is really underrated there.
Yes.
He's good.
Yes. Rob, this dude he had double digits touchdowns not too long ago.
He's good.
So
he'll pick up a lot of that slack if he's healthy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Cobbs is his safety valve. Cobbs has been the safety valve before, will be again. So he's got an array. He's got a lot of question marks, especially on the outside. Mm-hmm. But he's got some of his safety valves in terms of his tight end and Randall Cobb being back there.
Yeah. And look, in terms of the upper echelon the Eagles are going to face, for sure, right? So it's Rodgers, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I would put him at number 1. And then there's the really good tier. Like there's the Dak Prescott, Cousins, Matt Ryan, for sure. Who I think he's actually going to have a nice year for them. I'm not telling you it's going to be great, but I think he's going to be good for them. Then there's the question mark guys. Wentz, I don't know.
I know.
Really don't know.
That is a big enigma down there for Washington. What Carson Wentz are they going to get? Here's a guy who could be on his last leg as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Will he rise to the occasion? Because Washington has some decent-looking pass catchers down there. They've got a decent running game down there. They've got a great defensive front.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz has got to carry that load down there. Can he do it? Is he willing to be a team player compared to what he was his last year in Philadelphia and the 1 year he was in Indianapolis? If he comes close to that guy in 2017, Washington is going to be talked about all season long.
They're a surprise team, a legitimate surprise.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was interesting. We had Ruben Frank on yesterday from NBC Sports Philadelphia, and he pointed out if you basically go from like game 5 to like game 15 and look at Wentz's numbers, they're comparable with the best quarterbacks in the league.
No question.
But all we remember is the collapse, the last 2, in particular, the last game against Jacksonville.
Yep.
So I don't know. If I would say perhaps of any quarterback, maybe I would put him. I put Trey Lance because I don't know what that's going to look like. Clearly, San Francisco is banking on it, maybe not going well. Who else would fall into that? Just I don't know, man. Flip a coin kind of category. Is there anybody else for you?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
would be another quarterback.
I'm a doubter with him, but I hear you. You're right.
Yeah, I'm a doubter with him also, but they've upgraded the personnel around him.
Yeah.
He's got a deep receiving core, so it's on him now. I would say, another quarter. How about Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
You got the big money. People figured you out the latter part of the season in terms of how to defend against you.
Right.
You've got to have a big year to justify that big money. Okay.
I got another one for you, Tua.
Yeah. Tua,
Especially with Tyreek Hill now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just Tyreek Hill, the Jalen Waddle. He's got the whole arsenal down
He's
there.
a good tight end.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, there's definitely ability. I would say those guys. I don't know. I feel like I kind of know what Baker Mayfield is. Maybe a change of scenery helps them, but where are they better? They're better. They're better than they were certainly with Darnold. But is it good enough? I guess is the $1 million question with him.
Huge question mark, dude. Huge question mark.
And he is so that whole team is so dependent on McCaffrey's health,
and on Baker Mayfield's shoulder. Is his shoulder fully rehabbed? Because if he takes one good shot on that, all of a sudden.
Oh, and there's nothing behind him. I mean,
nope.
No offense to Philip Walker. I meant my guy, Temple, but come on.
No, and Darnold's out 4 to 6 weeks right out the gate.
That's if that heals. Those things you never know with those high ankles.
Yeah. So you're right. It goes from high hopes to basically nothing in quarterback if they have a problem.
And what's funny, Derek? If someone was having the same conversation in another city, they throw Hurts into this mix that we're talking about.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. No question about it.
Yeah.
I think another quarterback you have to wonder about is Jameis Winston.
Yes,
down in New Orleans.
Yep.
Which Jameis Winston are we going to see?
100%. I believe that. I am not. So I think he's another one who's set up pretty nicely.
Yep.
Same offensive coordinator. You point that out all the time.
Yep.
Same, similar offensive line, good weapons and all that. But Sean Payton not being there, man, that makes a difference.
It's huge. I mean, will we see the Jameis who had a great 7 games coming out of the gate last year? Or will Jameis be that guy who left Tampa?
Yeah. Let me give you one on New Orleans here. Marcus May, their safety, very good player, arrested this morning for aggravated assault with a firearm. According to that's Nick Underhill is reporting who covers the New Orleans Saints for the WWL TV for what it's worth. So anyway, that's always an X factor too, man. What happens off the field, sometimes, and coaches dread the phone call. That.
Oh my goodness, yes, dude. These players nowadays, man, I don't understand why they don't learn. Don't be where you're not supposed to. Yeah. You don't need to be in all these nightclubs or wherever the case may be, man. All this domestic abuse stuff, man, you got to learn to walk away. You're a high-profile individual. Everything you do is more magnified, more so than the average guy in the street. You have to learn how to control yourselves and put yourselves in better surroundings. I know you want to cut loose and let your hair down and all that stuff. A lot of times when you get out and about, but when you put yourselves in a situation, especially if you're in a place where you're an opposing team's backyard, let's say, and you want to go out and people identify you, they're going to want to talk trash to you.
I know.
And you're going to stand there and jaw jack with them? No, you get the heck up out of there.
That person has nothing to lose. You have everything to lose.
Exactly.
That's the problem. All right, we come back. Barrett will be rejoining us, and we will dig into the Russell Wilson contract and what the offshoots are for that. Aaron Donald chimed in on his helmet swinging. Some interesting things to say about that. We got a lot of good NFL stuff that we're going to dig into when we get back, including which second-year QB takes that jump. Who's the guy? And we'll put them in order. We'll rank them as well. Derek Gunn, Barrett in a little bit. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Flynn Tree Services, because Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They are cost-effective, and they provide solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So if you have any type of tree issues in your yard or on your property, if you do, they're just a phone call away, a quick one, as a matter of fact. They are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they service southeastern PA, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, storm and hurricane season is upon us. Now is a great time to have your trees evaluated before the wind, the rain, God knows what hits, and some of those trees come down or those branches come down You don't want that issue. You go to Facebook or Instagram for more information and a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted, revered.
Appreciated.
He is Action News.
He's compassionate. Honest.
And fair.
He is extremely dedicated,
Motivated. And always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader. And we're lucky to have him.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome on back. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek and Rob Barrett will be joining us shortly. All right, we'll just jump around the NFL a little bit here, Derek. Russell Wilson gets a 5-year, $245 million deal, approximately 165 of it guaranteed. Now, this is no surprise. When Denver made the trade, you knew they were going to, lock him in long-term here. But that sets the market again, or resets the market, if you will, in a lot of ways. My first thought is Lamar Jackson's got to be sitting there, and we're 10 days away or whatever it is from the start of the season, saying to himself, when are we getting this thing done? I mean, that, as these deals just keep coming in, his price just keeps going up. You're muted.
Basically, Lamar said if the season started and he didn't have a deal, that they would not talk about a contract during the course of a season. Mm-hmm. So basically, Lamar is banking on himself. But if he goes out and plays the way we've seen him accustomed to playing, the numbers are going to increase even more so after this season. He's got to stay healthy, obviously, and he got banged up. Yeah, he's got banged up a little bit last year, which cost him significant playing time. But if he stays healthy, and considering the uncertainty of his backfield, you're going to see Lamar back there dancing around a lot more, maybe running more than he should, which puts him in harm's way even more so. But he's banking on himself having that bounce back year. And we've seen a lot of players take that chance, and it's paid off for them. But you're right. Agents and younger quarterbacks are sitting out there applauding. Every time another quarterback gets another contract, man, they're thinking, okay, what am I worth to this organization or somebody else as well? So Lamar Jackson is going to get his money. And it's, unfortunately for him and the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to be a topic of discussion all season long, even though he said he's cutting off all negotiations until, after this campaign is all said and done. But what Denver, Arizona did for their quarterbacks, it just bodes well for Lamar Jackson in his situation.
Hey, speaking of that, let me pass this along. Coming from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, the Titans have reworked Derrick Henry's contract to give a $2 million raise for 2022. He will now earn $14 million this season, most of any running back. 23 remains the final year of his deal, so he's got one more year out of this. But you know what? Why it's significant? The guy's a great player. I mean, there's no question. But it's rare that you see a running back getting $14 million these days. I'm not saying there aren't any, but it's I think McCaffrey's making a lot too. But the days of that are numbered, Derek. The days of the running back making a ton are numbered, unfortunately.
No question. But you look at a Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is in a whole different stratosphere, and he lost a lot of playing time to injury last year. But as I mentioned a few weeks ago on this show, Tennessee did the right thing giving him that money. When you consider, number one, how much they lean on him, number one. Number two, this man almost had 1,000 yards rushing in half a season last year. We'd have been talking about him rushing for anywhere from 1,800 to 2,000 yards last year. So he's still a young player. Get your money now while you can, because history shows that when you have a big back like that who's leaned on like him, once you get to your late 20s, man, your body starts breaking down and you're not getting the same carries. You're not getting the same amount of yards in that regard. So get your money now. Now, after 2023, he may not even be a viable entity for Tennessee anymore. So get your wealth out of him now. Especially with A.J. Brown gone and the receiving corps taking a significant hit. You're going to have to lean on that running game a lot more, take some of that pressure off Tannehill.
100%. Yeah, Barrett, we're talking about the Titans restructured Derrick Henry's deal. He'll make $2 million more this year. He'll get 14 this year, and just how that's so rare with running backs these days, man, and will be going forward. So I'm in favor of that dude getting every penny he can get, considering how good he's been. And what a workhorse.
They devalue that position so much, man. It's ridiculous how much they do. I mean, when I first got in the league, everybody wanted to be a back because they were getting the big contracts. Ricky Warner's making $3.5 million a year. That was like unheard of. $3.5 million a year, it's nothing compared to what they're making now. Right. Well, shoot, look at our kicker makes $18 million over the next 4 years.
So, Jake Elliott got paid. Yeah, for sure. Well, so the other thing, and just to circle back to it, so Russell Wilson gets 5 years, $245 million, $165 million guaranteed with Denver. Just your take on that, and then what the offshoot might be with Lamar Jackson there, who still hasn't signed his deal or hasn't signed a deal with Baltimore.
What is going on? I mean, to me, it's it's not only just Lamar, but also what's going on in Philly. Look at Jalen Hurts. I mean, we're talking about somebody that is, if he has a good season this year, he could make upwards of $40 million a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So now you're getting, you got a guy like, one of the premier quarterbacks in the league right now in Denver making $45 million. Can you justify paying Jalen Hurts that? Well, you're going to have to. You're going to have to, because he's going to make upwards of that much if he's a starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah, but Barrett, I also said, if push comes to shove, Howie could very well make Jalen play on that rookie contract in 2023.
Yep.
Now, with that said, if Jalen balls out this year and next season, it bodes well for him. When you look at the overall quarterback market, and when it comes to quarterbacks, the numbers will only continue to go up and not down. He'll make a boatload, even more money after 2023, depending on how the organization wanted to play this thing.
Well, you know how Jalen is anyway. He's banking on himself anyways. That's one young fella, man, that you don't have to worry about him doing anything but trying to be the best player he can be. He's going to maximize every opportunity he can to be the best player he can be.
Right.
He would have no problem with banking. He'd be pissed, and it would be that, that chip that he would need. Or it wouldn't even be a chip, it'd be the rocket Gibraltar on his shoulder. He'd have a huge chip on his shoulder for him not getting paid and everybody else is getting paid around him. And just off spite, he'd have a great season.
Right.
You know what I mean? Banking on himself. But Howie's not that type of guy. Howie wants to get in below fair market value. That's how he works out most of his deals. While Lane Johnson got the deal he got, Zach Ertz, even Jordan Mailata signed a bad deal. Now, when you think about what left tackles in the league are getting paid right now, he got him well under what you get for premier left tackles in the league, especially with the potential that Jordan Mailata has.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's just what he does. So I could see him swooping in and throwing some money at Jalen. Maybe even halfway through this season, simply because he can get him under fair market value.
Yep, absolutely. So here's the way it works: highest paid per year. Rodgers is making 50.2.
Yep.
Wilson is now making 49. Kyler Murray 46. Deshaun Watson, we know what that setup is. He's out for the first 11. He's making 46, and Patrick Mahomes is at 45. That's your top 5 per year salaries in the NFL. So it's an interesting list.
I played the wrong position.
That's right. That's right.
And way too early.
You missed your calling. You should have been a quarterback, Barrett.
Right.
You should have been a quarterback. Speaking of, so Baker Mayfield, this whole thing is convoluted, but he denies saying that I was going to F up the Browns, trying to put it cleanly. F up the Browns. So Cynthia Freudlin, I believe is how you pronounce it, from the NFL. Friedland?
Is it Friedland? I believe it's Friedland. Yeah.
From the NFL Network, also does Browns games during the preseason, said to him, "Hey, you guys are going to bleep up the Browns." And he's like, "Yeah, that's right," or whatever. According to him, it turned into a whole firestorm. She basically is sort of walking it back, saying, "Yeah, he didn't mean it in that context." Baker is saying, "I never said it, period." She called Baker's people to apologize. She talked to his agent, or his agency, or his marketing person, or whatever. Didn't talk to him. Sounds to me like he's pretty pissed off at her. Would be my guess.
Shouldn't he?
Yes.
I mean, I'd be totally pissed off.
Yes, I would too.
That's a misrepresentation of him.
Number one, wasn't on the record either. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of a Weasley move. She did it on a podcast. I know she was talking in like kind of a comfortable way. And she even said, "Hey, he didn't mean it with malice. He had a smile on his face." You probably just leave that alone.
What I tell you guys all the time, I learned that lesson a long time ago. There's certain things you can share, and there's certain things that are just between you and the boys that you keep to yourself.
Yep.
Those were one of the things you just needed to keep to yourself. It was like, I'm sure Baker approached it, because he had a friendship with her. Hey, we just talking, off the record stuff. Never should have been repeated. Like she said, she never expected it to become the firestorm that it's become. And obviously it put Baker in a bad situation because basically his marketing people said, we have worked extremely hard to improve his image.
Yeah.
And
he's purposely stayed away from this all week, a whole offseason, the Browns thing, since he got traded.
Yep.
Yeah.
He has deflected all questions, and now he has to talk about this and defend himself on this, unnecessarily. And of course, Barry, you know how football players are. You don't need a whole lot to put on a bulletin board to get ready for a game.
Yep.
But luckily, as I've seen Myles Garrett and those guys say, hey, we know Baker. We know the competitive nature that he has. We know what kind of juices. So obviously they're taking that just in stride. Hey, this is Baker talking. We expect him to say nothing less, but still it's something that shouldn't have been made available to the general public.
Mm-hmm. They don't need any bulletin board material for them to go out and want to crack his skull. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is he's a former teammate, and when you play against former teammates, you're going to have that type of attitude. It's going to be the same way. You're going to want to go out there and put it on him, just like he's going to want to go out and put it on you.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't need any type of gasoline put on the fire.
Material,
yeah. Right. Why would you do that? That's not cool. And she knows she's wrong, so that's why she's trying to backtrack. But it's too late now.
Yeah.
I mean, in all actuality, for misrepresentation, she could probably get sued for that.
Yeah, it was just handled poorly, and I think You know, I was just thinking about this when you were saying that, Barrett, with Cleveland. Like, not only the Baker thing, those players have had a brutal offseason. Like, they have had to deal with all the Deshaun Watson fallout and have to answer questions for it. I'm sure they're like, yeah, Mayfield or anybody else, man, we're teeing off next Sunday.
Yes.
Like, we're going to town next Sunday on somebody. Somebody's paying the price for this. There's a bill come due. And somebody's going to feel that pain. Yeah, somebody's going to feel that pain for all of that going down. But yeah, that's going to be look. And normally that's a game I'd kind of say, who cares? I'm pretty interested in that game.
I am also. I wish I could watch it, man. I am
how
also.
That one's going to look.
But it's, you know, they've been through everything, bro. It's not. I can't think of a scenario in which, you know, a team had to go through that much. And there's nothing they could do about it. Nothing. Well, the team brought it on themselves, but the players are like, dang, well, look at us. We're caught in the middle of this. We ain't had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
All we want to do is play.
Right.
And you got this whirlwind, you know, of all these media being here. I mean, it was probably 3 times the amount of media that Cleveland gets.
Oh, big time.
3 times.
Yeah.
So
well said. Well said. All right. So couple other odds and ends. So Aaron Donald basically is taking the tact that a big deal. I was swinging a helmet, you know, with the intent to, you know, slay somebody. It was just practice. Who cares? Nothing to see here. Like, it's basically what he's doing. Now, the way it works is the NFL can't police this because it wasn't a game with the way this is written in the CBA.
Yep.
So
it's practice. So
the tact that he's taking is also, it's practice. Who cares? Like, he is really lucky he didn't catch somebody, man, and clean him out.
As strong as that dude is, man, he could have cracked somebody's skull with that helmet, man.
Yep.
You know, I do think the Rams should reprimand him for it, but then again, are you going to sit Aaron Donald down? Who's going to sit him down? They probably talk to him.
I don't even know if I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. When you're out there practicing, especially on these dual practices, it's so heated, man. You never know what you do. You say you wouldn't do it, but then once you're out there and it's happening at that point, you know, it's a whole different animal. Then, you know, the reason why I'm saying that now, because I started thinking back, and I've been a part of a melee like that. You know what I'm saying? I've been a part of something like that. I actually did it in college. In fact, we lost the game in college because of it. We're playing against Oklahoma, and it's Archery Beavers. Me and him was fighting in the middle of the field, and he grabbed my helmet, and he pulled my face mask off. My helmet was still on my head, but he pulled my face mask off, and I pulled his, and his whole helmet came off, and I went and tried to hit him with. I missed him, but I'm thinking to myself, man, that happened during the game. And while this is going on, it was an interception, and the ball ran right past me, and I didn't even see it.
Wow.
Yeah, but dude, when you're in a melee like that, the first thing you're told, don't take your helmet off. You don't want to take
his off. He ripped the
no, I understand
players.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying, was this helmet on?
Yes.
So that's even worse. So I mean, you could have done serious damage. That dude is one of the strongest dudes in the NFL, man. When you do start doing, that's a weapon.
Yep.
I understand things get heated. But you gotta learn. You gotta have control. What if he had busted that dude's nose? Anything? Now you're talking about not just suspension, but a lawsuit. Because if I'm the player getting hit, what's the first thing I'm thinking? I'm assuming this man got me. I'm gonna sue.
Well, especially if you're some dude who's not going to make the team in an open practice, you're like, I just got paid. I got paid from Aaron Donald. Thank you, Aaron.
And you know what I'm thinking? Y'all saying that. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of Rocky. And if he dies. He dies.
Drago.
Man, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with
Drago,
you?
I'm being serious, man.
Poor Apollo Creed. I'm drawing his last breath. That's not cool, man.
I'm just being serious.
Towel. Rocky still hasn't lived that down, man. On that one. He's still not over it.
I'm just saying, dog. Yeah. You're out there, you don't know what you're gonna do, man.
Thanks to Drago, we got the Creed franchise. You know what I mean? In a weird way. Anyway.
Jeez.
Don't send me down the Rocky rabbit hole, Barrett. Don't do it, man.
No, but seriously, man. Seriously, serious business. When you're out there competing, you're out there being competitive. This is a gladiator sport, man. If it happens, it happens. It just You know, and you know, he's not just the only strongest guy out there. There's other guys out there stronger than him.
Yeah.
And you're right, it probably is a weapon at that time.
But he's the only one. He's the only one swinging the helmet
because he's the only one that took a helmet off somebody.
Yeah, but
if others had helmets taken off, they would have been swinging them also.
Nah, I don't know. Well, maybe.
I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I'm telling you right now because it's what if, you know. You're out there trying to feed your family, man, and that's how serious it is. You know, it's not just a game. When you think about what's on the line when it comes to guys out there, yeah. So you know, you don't know what you'll do, man. Somebody try to take food out of your kid's mouth, you'll probably do a little more than that. You know, I didn't ran and super kick somebody for, you know, in
super kick.
Wait a minute, I would love to see you get up and super kick anybody. I would love to see that.
I used to be an athlete, bro. I used to be an athlete.
I know that's right.
So,
but I'm saying, why would you put yourself in that situation? First of all, if you hurt somebody, you have to make a public apology. Number one,
I would have made nothing because we were in practice.
If your organization says we need you to apologize, you would do it.
Yeah, but this stuff happens all the time. It's just
does.
So many cameras and everything around it. It's just
everything gets caught now.
Yeah, everything gets caught now.
Okay. With that said, all the cameras around. We haven't seen any other case this summer, especially when teams get together and practice. We haven't seen another case this summer where somebody took a helmet off and swung it.
Well, and it's not just in these inter squad scrimmages. It happens in regular practice when you practice against your own guys. You know what I'm saying? It's not just that. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, I remember times when I was in the office, man, I wanted to take off my glasses and whip you. No.
Give you a super kick. Oh,
no, he didn't get to me, Rob, because he had his eyes set on too many other coworkers at the time.
Exactly. You were usually the one. You're the one holding the back.
No, but you got, man, people in the street understand what I'm saying, man. There's times you want
you lose it. You in the moment sometimes you become a different person.
Have a pen there, you want to, you know.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah. A jab. Yeah, exactly. Little shank. Yeah. Oh, man. When you've done time like I have, you know what a shank is. Trust me. All right. Jimmy Garoppolo back at practice today doing some drills. So we'll see how that shakes out from a 49er perspective with him.
Well, do you guys think that makes them better than the Eagles now in the whole scheme of things that he's back on the squad?
I think it gives him a good safety net.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what it does, like a really good safety net.
I think it makes them more of a complete team, and it also, I think, it kind of evaporates the question marks surrounding the quarterback, because if the young kid falters, you got a proven vet sitting there waiting in the wings who knows the offense inside and out. So I do think it erases that question mark about their quarterback situation, which makes them that much more of a complete team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that the reason why they brought him back is because the young fella's just not ready.
Yeah, I agree.
They won't say it publicly, but it's going to be a real quick hook. You're not. This isn't going to last till Game 7. It'll last about two games, maybe 3 games.
Exactly.
It'll be bye time.
Oh,
that's the case, because they're too close to. They're too good to, be kind of going through this growth period or whatever it's going to turn out to be.
I mean, Shanahan even came out and said it yesterday. We're shocked that he's back here with us. All of our discussions were that he was going to move on. And we're shocked that he's here. I'm elated that he's still here. You know how much of a big sigh of relief that is for him and his offense?
Yes.
Yeah.
We talk about his record. What is his record? It's like crazy, like 40-something and like 16.
Oh, Garoppolo, you're saying?
Yeah.
5-2 in the playoffs?
Yeah, no, he has a really good winning percentage as a starter. He does. He's been benefited by a good defense, but his record is good. That's fair. J.K. Dobbins, we don't know if he's going to be able to go week 1 or not. Harbaugh is kind of giving you, he looks better. Yeah, but he looks better. Sort of playing both sides of this thing. So we don't really know where that's going. Kareem Hunt will not be traded. Like that, is that any surprise?
No.
If you're Cleveland, you're going to pound the rock, aren't you?
Exactly. You got one of the best offensive lines in the game. You were number 4 in rushing a season ago. You have one of the best 1-2 punches in all of football in terms of running the ball. I'm sorry, your feelings hurt. You ain't going nowhere.
Exactly right.
You play for us, or you stay back at your house. Plain and simple.
That's it. And they don't care because he'll walk next year. Okay, he walks, but we got you this year.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
Yep.
The Titans have signed Josh Gordon to the practice squad. So you remember he got released by the Chiefs. They said there was no issues character-wise. It was just a numbers crunch. So he's on the practice squad. So football career is still alive for Josh Gordon. I got to tell you, the other one, the other receiver story, Denzel Mims, like just enough, dude. I can't take any more of this guy.
Yeah.
All he does is complain and act like he's Jerry Rice. You've done nothing in your time there.
Well, according to him, he's done enough in training camp to where he thought he should be elevated to a starting wide receiver. I mean, you're talking about a wide receiving core with, let's see, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore. I don't know. It's hard. You know, the coaches obviously have been watching. They made the decision. So obviously it's something you're not doing.
Yeah. I think they've all would like to move on, but he's, you know, it's a contract thing and he's still there. Just at some point, just stop and play. Just stop. And when you get your opportunity, go show who you are.
Yep.
I mean, but anyway, that drama continues. Speaking of quarterbacks, just to swing it back here, I wanted to do this little exercise with you guys. So there's some pretty prominent names going into their second year here as quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and one of the guys we just brought up, Trey Lance, all headed into their second season. Now, we saw Trevor Lawrence be saddled with Urban Meyer last year, and then, you know, the coaching change. We saw Zach Wilson get hurt during the season last year. We saw Trey Lance get some opportunities, not a ton. We saw Justin Fields, you know, get in there a little bit later in the season with an awful team that was going nowhere with a lame duck coach. And we saw Mac Jones have a pretty decent year in a conservative approach that New England took. He was pretty good. So of those five guys, let's start with this. I want to rank them in a minute, but let's start with this. Who takes the biggest step forward for you guys of those five? So you got Lawrence, Lance, Fields, Jones.
Mac Jones has to be number one out of those guys. Mac Jones, I mean, I see what you're saying with Trevor Lawrence, but we're talking about a consistency that he just has 1 year of prime coaching with Belichick under his belt. That he's just now, you know, Lawrence is just now getting coached, just now. He's going to take a step, but he's not going to take the tremendous step that a Mac Jones is going to step. That's just me.
It's not a bad choice.
Yeah, I mean, he's with, you know, Belichick. He's in that system for sure. I think it's a good choice. I'll tell you the guy I think takes the biggest step forward, and I don't think the team's going to be good, but I think Justin Fields shows everybody he can play. I think he will. He's got Mooney, who I like. He doesn't have a ton else, but I think he's a really talented guy who's just in a bad spot with a team that's got, and they have actually a couple of running backs, but where they don't have a whole lot. But I think
sucks too.
Yeah, but I just think by the end of the year we're going to say, all right, he gets help, he's going to be really good. He doesn't have help, so I'm going to go with Justin Fields. I'm on the Fields train.
I would say the field wagon.
The Gan wagon.
I would say Justin Fields is at such a deficit in terms of not having anything to make him a better player. You know, you got to have players to make you a better player. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of his top targets who they just got from the Patriots, N'Keal Henry, just been placed on IR today.
Yep.
You know, the wide receiving core was already depleted. The offensive line is a mess. You know, they have decent running backs, but you know, the pass catchers, Brian Pringle, whatever the heck his name is.
His Kansas State guy. Chill out, man. See
that?
I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks.
He knew what he was doing there.
I apologize. No, I honestly didn't even think about that, but I'm glad he brought it up. If I can stick it to him and upset it for a moment.
Nice.
After what he does to me on a daily basis, I am happy to return the favor, Mr. Brooks. So I just think Justin Fields is going to be handcuffed by the deficiencies that he has around him. I like Barrett's analogy. When you talk about a Mac Jones, you know, we talk about how he set the rookie record for consecutive passes. He's in that Belichick system, whatever it may be, without Josh McDaniels now. I think Mac Jones will be an efficient quarterback, but not an electric quarterback. I think for Trevor Lawrence is like a kid on Christmas morning now. He's got a coach who understands quarterbacks. He has a good array of pass catchers around him. They've got talent. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make leaps and bounds improvement over what he had to go through and endure last year when he had basically nothing. To me, last year, Trevor Lawrence was in a Justin Fields situation. Trevor Lawrence had nothing basically last year.
I agree.
Now he's got a big improvement in terms of you've got Christian Kirk, the Jones brothers, Zay and Marvin. They're not brothers, but Zay and Marvin Jones Jr. Evan Ingram can stay healthy. The tight end position has improved. And you got Doug Peterson, who understands young quarterbacks, who can get in their ear and relay firsthand information that he experienced as a quarterback. I think for Trevor Lawrence, it's going to be light years different compared to what we saw a season ago.
Yeah, I am excited to see him in a functional situation where it was absolute dysfunction.
Right.
It was very smart by Jacksonville in this sense to bring Doug in because the most important position is quarterback. If you want to try to get the quarterback going,
right,
he's a good guy to kind of get him, in there. Wilson. I said this, Barrett. I don't know if you were on yet, but I don't believe in Zach Wilson. I'm just not. I didn't get him being drafted where he was drafted. I'm not a big fan. So he's the guy I really have the least expectations. And I think Trey Lawrence is more of just a total wild card for me. Like, I don't believe in him, but he could have huge upside, but he's played so little football.
Yeah,
so that guy since high school has played so little football.
When you look at,
go ahead, Barrett.
I'm gonna say, when you look at Trey Lance, like last year, what he did, he had a 57.7 completion rating for 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a QB rating of 97.3. That's playing very, very sporadically, and I just don't think that he's going to have enough. And just from hearing what people have talked about, he's going to have enough to make that step this year into being a better quarterback. I look at Zach Wilson. I think that he's peaked. That's just who he is. His numbers. He has a 55.6 completion rating, 2,334 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a 69.7 QB rating. That's who he is. He's not really going to get any better than that.
Right.
You look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones, 67.6 completion rating, 3,800 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and a QB rating of 92.5. Justin Fields, 58.9, 1,870 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 73.2. Now, a lot of his is he's on a terrible team.
Mm-hmm.
His offensive line sucks. Sucks.
Yeah.
They were tattooing him. So it has a lot to do with what they've been allowed. Like Trevor Lawrence, his numbers 59.6, 3,641 yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 7 point.
He had nothing. He's like Justin Fields. He had nothing.
So his numbers are going to go up. But you look who's in well, you know what? I think he will be he's going to have a better situation as far as being nurtured as a quarterback.
Yes.
Mac Jones, not as Josh McDaniels not there anymore. The stream is right. The stream made that, that made me aware of that who's he going to get counseling from as far as an offensive standpoint of becoming a better quarterback. They don't really have a quarterback.
What
special teams coaches? He used to be his old special teams coach. Is now the quarterback coach, isn't he?
For
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
No, right now, Matt Patricia's calling the plays, and Joe Judge is the QB coach. Yeah, I don't think it's a great situation for sure. By the way, nothing lights up the chat room like Zach Wilson talk because all the mob stuff starts.
It's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable, man. Like they're on fire when that starts. It's
Rob is mad because she pulling all the soccer moms.
Yeah. There's all kinds of. My mom's marked safe around Zach. It's crazy, man. If they start going, man, they start firing that stuff off. It's nothing short of unbelievable. But yeah, I know it's Belichick or whatever. We've talked about it, but I don't think this is a formula to help that kid. I do not.
Not at all. Not at all.
Brady had Josh McDaniels and Bill O'Brien, Charlie Weiss.
Yep.
Real offense. Not maybe they didn't go on to be good head coaches, but they were good offensive minds.
Yep.
To help him along the way. This just feels like Belichick. I'm smarter than everybody else. I can do anything I want. and throw anybody in there, and we're going to be fine. Like, okay, Bill, I guess. We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out. I mean, it's intriguing in terms of, his security blanket has moved on now to greener pastures and Josh McDaniels. I still think they're gonna run a similar offense. You're gonna see Mac Jones a lot of short passes, just like his predecessor Brady. He'll keep that offense efficient, and they have the personnel around them to compete. I don't see them beating Buffalo. They're going to have problems with Miami. Those are going to be good matchups, but I think they have the personnel overall to compete. And I think Mac Jones is the perfect type of quarterback to run an efficient system and keep that team relevant for most of the season.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to hit you guys with this, and then we'll jump into some open talk in the last segment. But the Manning cast will be back. The Peyton and Eli alternative broadcast.
That was pretty good, man.
It was, man.
Definitely. I mean, so there's two things. One, I think they're both funny. Number one, I think they both kind of get it, what it is. They're not sitting there trying to X and O you to death, but they mix in enough of it where you're like, oh, damn, okay.
Right.
But they get great guests, too.
Yeah, they do.
They'll have Barkley on there. Yeah. They're having pizza eating content. Like, you never know what they're going to do.
And they said it in that cup that the Peyton's drinking.
He's getting after it a little bit. Yeah, it does kind of feel like that. There might be something.
But his brother, man, I don't know, man. He's just the squares. He's square. He's a square, but he's funny, man.
But he wears the squareness. That's what's good about it. You know what I mean? He knows he's a square and a dork. Yeah, I agree with Fitness Rebel. Like, Cooper's the best one. Like, have you guys seen the commercial? I forget. I don't know. It's for a betting thing, but but nonetheless, it's JP Smoove.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
And they're playing charades.
Yeah.
And Peyton and Eli are on one team, and they're like, what did I do? They're guessing everything. And Cooper is like nails this long soliloquy, and Peyton and Eli are like, really? Like that? And the dad's like, way to go, Cooper.
Right.
And they're both angry that the dad says that to Cooper. And they're just funny, man. I think those two are good. They're good together.
I would love to just sit in a room with the Manning brothers just to have a roundtable conversation about anything. I bet it would be hilarious. They have that dry Southern humor.
Yes.
I think it would be hilarious just to sit around with them.
Because Peyton's dry also. But nobody's dry than Eli. Eli, I mean, he's got the face. He's got the mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not even really trying to be funny, but he's funny as heck, man.
It is good. All right, so we come back. We'll dive into some more open talk stuff. Serena advances to the third round. Tony La Russa, Nnamdi Asomugha, Ben Simmons. We got all kinds of stuff for you in store. We get back birthdays, movies on this date. All that good stuff is coming up. Don't go anywhere. Sports Take, Derek, Barrett, Rob, JAKIB Sports Network.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted, revered.
Appreciated.
He is Action News.
He's compassionate. Honest.
And fair.
He is extremely dedicated,
Motivated. And always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader. And we're lucky to have him.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Go for the poles and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Final segment on this Thursday. Welcome back in, everybody. Derek, Barrett, Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, hanging with you. All right, so a couple things. We mentioned it off the top, but just to reiterate, Serena Williams advances to the third round of the U.S. Open. She beat the 2 seed, man. It's not like she just beat anybody. She beat the number 2 seed to advance. And it's like a groundswell every time she's playing now, man. It gets bigger. It's like a momentum tidal wave every single time that she goes here. I would not want to be facing her, man, because you're going against her and that crowd, and they are rocking there.
And then she sent out the message, I'm not in a hurry to retire. You know, she knows it's coming. And it's like, you know, she wants to go on the blaze of glory. Can you imagine at 40 years old if she pulled this off? What a story that would be. And look at the prominent list of names that continue to converge just to say I was there to watch her last major, if this is her last major, man. Yeah. I'd be walking around. If I was a fan, one of those fans that like to get autographs, I'd be walking around the stands. Can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph, please? Yep. Dude, your collection of autographs you could get at the U.S. Open this week is phenomenal.
Oh, the first round, they're cutting away to the crowd, and it's Bill Clinton and Dr. Ruth. I don't mean any disrespect. I had no idea Dr. Ruth was still alive.
I was just thinking the same thing. I swear I did.
I mean, how freaking old is Dr. Ruth?
She got to be in her 90s. In her 90s.
She was old when I was in high school.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's got to be in her 90s, right? Has to.
Hold on. What's really damning is because I turned around, I was like, oh, man. How old is she? And did you guys say exactly what I was thinking?
All right. So my first thought was, how old is she? And my second thought is Bill making a move? That was my other. I'm just saying, man.
Get this. She was born in 1928. She's 94 years old.
Oh my God. Whoa. Yeah.
Still talking about sex.
If she is, good for her, man. If that's still a thing. If she's talking to Bill Clinton, she probably is talking about sex, Barry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Is this thing on? Come on. All right.
I will not engage in this conversation right now.
Well, the other shot was it's Mike Tyson, Martina Navratilova, and her dog. In between Tyson and Martina as her like support dog. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Wait a minute. Mike Tyson is there with Martina?
I'm not saying they're there together. I'm saying they were just sitting in the stands by each other. But like it was just a weird collection of people, man. You know, but
she better be careful. Mike might have a flashback and bite her ear or something.
He's a little hungry. I'm a little hungry. Yeah. So yes.
Better be careful.
But anyway, it would be really cool, man, if she could take this thing the distance. I mean, not that she needs anything to cement her goatness, but if she could win this thing at 40, her goatness is more than cemented. You know, that's for sure.
And you know the network is eating this up because the numbers keep going up and up
through
and
the
up,
roof. Bro. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Hey, real quick on that. So I know it was a preseason game, but the Amazon Prime game, which was last Thursday.
Yep.
Did not do well. They drew about 1 million compared to about 5 for the CBS game Sunday.
Wow.
Just saying, whatever. I mean, it's early in this thing.
Yeah,
with Amazon. You got to get used to it. People got to get used to it.
Yeah, but there's a strategic reason behind that, man.
I agree.
People who love football,
Well, watch.
They're going to turn.
Yep.
Trust me, they'll turn.
Yeah, if you think for a second that they're not going to be watching once it gets real on Thursday nights,
exactly. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they absolutely will. All right, so Tony La Russa, 77 years old. I think he's the 3rd oldest manager in the history of baseball. He's out indefinitely. They're not sure exactly what's going on right now. He's having testing done. Obviously, there was some health issue happening. That's a grind for even a young man, that baseball season, man. The travel is nuts.
Well, it starts in February and doesn't end until October.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
on the road for long periods of time, man. It's hard. It's hard. And I know they travel in, charters and all that. It's still a grind for sure. So hopefully he'll feel better. Our old friend Nnamdi Asomugha is an actor now.
He was an actor when he played in Philadelphia.
He acted like a player every time he collected a check. Yeah. So he's acting, and he's got like a speaking role in the it's called The Good Nurse on Netflix. Now his wife is Kerry Washington, the actress.
Right.
So Nnamdi has busted in there. He's acting now.
I got to see this. I got to check this out.
Yeah, The Good Nurse, it's called.
It's on
Netflix. If you get a chance to check it out. So
I know Vernon Davis is also.
Yeah, former tight end.
Yeah.
You know who else is? He was oh God, how am I drawing a blank on his name? He went to Temple. He was a defensive end for the Colts. The Eagles drafted him, but he was a 7th rounder and they didn't sign him. And then he went to the Colts. And
he's a defensive end. You're talking about
Raheem Brock.
Yeah.
He's an actor, producer, and director. Raheem Brock.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he did when he retired. So he's doing his thing.
Wait a minute. Fitness Rebel is saying that Vernon Davis is on that show P-Valley. Barry, did you watch that show, right?
No, I don't watch P-Valley.
Oh, I'll just ask.
Bro, I was trying to watch it with my peoples, and I was like,
turn that mess off.
Bro, I was like,
not giving a thumbs up to that one, Barrett.
Bro, it's a bit much, bro.
Is that the one you guys were telling me about? There's a lot
of
scenes, good scenes.
A lot of.
But the rest of it's bad.
Yeah, do you?
A lot of.
You don't watch that, man. You don't.
I don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah, you don't want to watch it. No.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you. I don't even want to
know.
No,
what's the John Dickerson? D-Gun has a fans only account. I don't even know what that is.
I know what it is. Yeah.
Dude, you know what? Here's where I found out what a fan only account was. I was on Facebook, and you see people talking about what people do on there. They sell things. Like I heard some girl said she sells her toenails and is making 6 figures. I'm like, hold up, man.
There's a whole lot of like foot fetish stuff and
hold up, dude. Seriously, and people getting paid for this?
A lot. Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah, we're in some weird times, man.
Dude, seriously,
it's all I can tell you.
There are people who pay for this.
Toenails. What is happening, man? Oh my God.
What is going on?
Yeah, what is going on? All right.
Come on, man, making 6 figures.
Yeah.
Because Bear used to say, Bear got them meat hooks like this, man. He used to sell them nails, man.
Oh my God,
bro. They do everything on
fans. Are you serious?
Yeah, bro.
Some of the stuff I heard that especially women sell, and people out there that buy this stuff, and these women are driving like Lamborghinis.
Yep.
Porsches. I'm like,
what kind of car you got, D-Gun?
I got a hoopty. That's what I got. I got a hoopty.
Yes. All right. I'll bail you out of that one. Ben, this is sad.
That's nasty, man.
We're all shedding a tear. Yeah. Ben Simmons and Maya Jama, the engagement is off.
Oh, she probably heard that he's not going to play basketball anymore.
Yes. I mean, this is unbelievable. He was also at the U.S. Open. Did you see that? Ben was one of the people there.
He was there?
Yeah, of course.
So Ben's everywhere except where he's supposed to be, in a gym.
Correct.
My man out on the boat.
Getting paid, though.
He's on the boat. He's out. He's at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
Get your butt back in the gym, man. Let's see what you got.
And Maya had enough. Maya's out of there, so she's done. All right, birthdays. Zendaya, the singer.
Oh, yeah.
26 years old.
Dude, her role in the movie The Greatest Showman, phenomenal movie.
Is that the Hugh Jackman?
Yes. You never saw the movie?
I saw bits and pieces.
The Greatest Showman?
Oh, yeah.
I heard it was good.
That movie's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, I heard good things about it.
Matter of fact, her biggest hit was the song she sung in that movie with Zac Efron.
She's talented.
Rewrite the Stars.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to see the movie. I've watched the movie 4 or 5 times. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly, man.
Yeah. I heard it's really good. It's one of those where like I flip around and I'm in the middle of it or whatever, and I always want to watch it from the beginning. So I got to check it out. Dr. Phil is 72 years old.
72?
Dr. Phil makes an appearance in the Manti Te'o documentary I told you guys about yesterday.
Right.
Because he counseled, I guess, the person. I'm not.
What are you trying to say, Rob?
I'm not saying anything. The person that did the catfishing to Te'o.
Oh my goodness.
I'll move on. Rocky Marciano was born on this day in 1923.
There we go. The real Rocky, huh?
Yeah, the real Rocky. That's who he was named after in the movie.
Dude, do you know, not to cut you off, but I like to add these little tidbits. Do you know that he won his first 19 fights, all by knockout in 5 rounds or less? And in 9 of those fights were first round knockouts. He was like Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he was. I never lost.
Never lost. Only heavyweight that never lost.
Died really young.
Yeah.
In his 40s, I think.
He died a day before his 46th birthday. He was in a flight going somewhere to Iowa, and the pilot flying the flight only had like 231 flight time hours. Jeez. It was a bad storm. He tried to land the flight. He landed 2 miles short of the airport in some little podunk town. What was the name of this town? I wrote it down, so I was like, I never heard of this place. I've been to Iowa. Right. Some little podunk town in Iowa, and hit a tree, and boom, they were gone. Yeah.
How many times do you hear that too? Either the pilot didn't have the experience, or it's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
Newton, Iowa. Never heard of it.
No, I haven't either. Gloria Estefan, 65 years old.
Oh, man.
Miami Sound Machine.
Dude, think about how old her biggest hits are.
Oh, yeah.
Congo came out in 1985.
Yeah, she was young.
Wow.
She was young. She was in her 20s. The great Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees. He's the lone survivor.
Yeah.
Of the Bee Gees. He's 76 years old.
What's your favorite Bee Gees song?
You Should Be Dancing.
There you go.
They were one ready for you.
Barrett laughing. Why are you laughing, B. Brooks?
Jive Talking.
I don't know what kind of songs the Bee Gees. I know I just remember the voices, but I don't know what the heck they were saying though.
If you ever get a chance.
Hey man, look here. You Should Still Be Dancing was a huge disco song, man. With disco.
That album from Saturday Night Fever just destroyed it. I'm telling you.
What's wrong with him? How deep is your love?
Yes.
How do you mend a broken heart?
Here's what you guys need to do. Watch Jimmy Fallon as Barry Gibb on a Saturday Night Live skit. He does it with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon plays one of the other Gibb brothers, and he plays like angry Barry Gibb.
Oh,
so if anybody, he's a talk show host, and if anybody gives him any lip, he does like karate chop moves on them. You got to see it, man. He's got this like big hairy chest and medallions hanging out. It's pretty funny. More Than a Woman. That's a good one too.
Yep.
More Than a Woman. Exactly.
Nights on Broadway.
Yeah, they've been a million hits, man. The Bee Gees. Conway Twitty, country singer, 89 years old.
Conway, I don't know what songs it is, but I've heard the name Conway Twitty.
Same. Padma Lakshmi, is that how you say her name?
Yeah, I'll go with that. Go ahead. I'll go with that one.
She's 52. Tim Hardaway Sr. is 56. Yep. Clinton Portis is 41.
Man, what a sad story. What a sad story he is, man.
Is he in jail now?
He's under house arrest. He's coming close to house arrest, but he was one of like a dozen former players who got caught in insurance benefits fraud.
Yep.
And he admitted that he had gotten almost $100,000 in medical benefits he shouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
It's like he got a one of those chambers.
Something like that.
A chamber, and they gave him a counterfeit receipt saying he bought one of those hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah, and he did some other stuff with his benefits.
Well, prior to that also, because of bad financial advisory, he lost multiple homes. As of 2017, he was living in like a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, that's pretty sad, man.
Yeah.
I come live with your house before I do that.
You ain't never living in my house because I can't feed you. I can't feed you.
That was out loud.
No, I can't feed you.
That was out loud, Barry. All right, you got any other birthdays, Gunner? Because I got an on this date and a couple movies.
Oh man, you missed a lot of them, man.
Oh, go ahead.
Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin, that's right.
From the old Laughing Show.
83.
What's his name? Brad Holbrook. On the Netflix series Narcos, he plays a DEA. If you've never watched this series on Netflix called Narcos, woo! And plus, he was in Walk Among the Tombstones with Liam Neeson.
Yes.
And Gone Girl, he was in that one also.
Yeah.
Yvonne DiCarlo, you missed that one. Lily Munster, how did you miss that one?
That's right.
Come on,
Herman's wife. Yes.
And finally, Barrett's favorite, Billy Blanks.
Billy Blanks. Yes. Oh my God. Is Billy still with us?
He's 43.
Billy Blanks is only 43.
I'm telling you, said he's 43.
What?
Hold on, let me look this up.
Look it up. I'm telling you.
I guarantee you, he's in his 50s.
All right. I'm just telling you what it said.
Oh, I gotta find this.
Unless I have dyslexia, didn't read it right.
All right. Let's see. He was born in 1955. He's like.
What is it? Was it
66 years old.
66? Okay, I don't know how I got 43. My bad.
Yeah, he was born in Erie, PA.
All right, my bad.
All right. Movies, not a lot here. Crank. Jason
Statham.
He was in a movie.
I love Statham. Billy Blanks was in that movie?
No, he was in a movie. In a couple movies. Showdown. Back in Action. Tough and Deadly. Expect No Mercy.
That's not like stuff
you was in Blood First.
Leading roles too.
He was in The Last Boy Scout. Yeah.
Oh wow,
there's a lot of Billy Blanks information.
Wow.
The
real Miyagi.
The real Miyagi.
Yeah.
God, was that right? That made the video? Right, the video.
Bro, that was straight to.
Was that Mr. Miyagi? Was the lead?
The real Miyagi.
Oh my God! Wow. All right. So
something's wrong. Something's wrong with that dude, man.
Billy Blanks is 43 years old. No, he's not.
Oh my goodness, bro! If he was 43, he's Benjamin Button.
He's Tom Brady. He's going to Brady's doctor. No. All right. We got to get out of here. All right. Xander, thank you for producing. Thank you for everybody in the chat section, everybody listening, everybody streaming. Oh my God. We're back tomorrow at the same time.
I'm not coming back.
If they let us back,
I'm not coming.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.